it can sound like a language of its own. But hey, if you can pronounce Demumbrian, then names like Yossi, Shea, and Marchessault will roll right off the tongue. Nashville Predators, only in Smashville.
It's a rare enough thing that we get to open the show with NBA, and not because the NBA's regular season started here this week. Welcome in on this Thursday morning. Lucas, Robert, and me with you until 1 o'clock. Eric Kane of VolQuest will join us in just about 18 minutes from now. Nate Washington, former Titans wide receiver, will be on with us in the noon hour today. But the place that we need to start is with scandal. It's probably the biggest scandal that the NBA's had since Tim Donaghy, the former ref, was betting on games. So this comes down this morning, reported by a variety of different people, including Shams Charania, did I pronounce that correctly, of ESPN, where the FBI and federal prosecutors in Brooklyn have been digging into an illegal gambling operation involving multiple NBA players, at least one coach who's already been arrested in Chauncey Billups, and Lucas, the Mafia. We have a Mafia NBA-adjacent scandal to start the show with this morning. We'll have more details on this here in just a second, but I was a little late to the news this morning, and then all of a sudden I turned on television, and I'm looking at Taylor Lewan and Will Compton on Get Up trying to talk about NBA betting scandals. It was one of the funnier ways to have this news enter my morning or start my morning with. But since reading some of the details and seeing some of the arrests, at least 2 arrests have been made early this morning. Both Terry Rozier of the Miami Heat and the Portland Trailblazers coach, Chauncey Billups, have both been taken into custody by the FBI.
I can't get over the thought of Chauncey Billups surrounded by a bunch of dudes in tracksuits, just laying down some cards, playing some illegal poker.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I had a vision of a scene out of Sopranos with Chauncey Billups sitting around the table. Like, what's the who was the celebrity that made a cameo in The Sopranos at one of these poker games?
Frank Sinatra's son, I believe.
Is it Frank Jr.? I don't know.
Yeah, I think Frank Jr. was in a lot of those.
Nancy Sinatra for sure had a cameo in Sopranos at some point.
But the crazy thing is, they're not really connected. Now, 34 people have been arrested in this.
Yeah.
But Billups' situation has to do with the illegal poker game, rigged poker games backed by the Mafia. Rozier's situation has to do with prop bets based on the NBA. They're 2 completely different things. Like, how deep does this go?
Well, we're about to find out, because apparently this case has been underway, or this investigation has been underway for more than a year, and they are expecting a press conference has already been given this morning with federal investigators, And apparently the head of the FBI, Kash Patel, is also going to speak at a press conference if he's not already spoken this morning. We do have Shams on Get Up this morning, Robert, if you are ready for that, giving some additional details around the arrest and what the NBA knew or didn't know, because the NBA famously has already, suspended Jonte Porter or banned Jonte Porter for life due to his involvement in an illegal betting scheme, and already investigated Terry Rozier, but cleared him of any wrongdoing within the course of the last year and allowed him to get back to playing games. He just signed an extension. Let me hear from Shams this morning on ESPN.
Greeny, Portland Trailblazers head coach Chauncey Billups and Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier have both been arrested this morning. Billups at around 6 a.m. in Portland, Oregon, and Rozier around 6 a.m., I'm told, in Orlando, where the Heat were playing last night. Rozier's been arrested for his involvement in alleged sports gambling, prop bets, and Billups, ABC News is reporting, is tied to an illegal poker operation tied to the mafia. And so the FBI has been investigating this situation for several months, and in Rozier's case, at least 2 years. And today is making arrests. There is a press conference that is set by the FBI. The Eastern District of New York has been leading this investigation. I'm told FBI Director Kash Patel has also been increasingly involved in recent weeks. He will be leading the press conference today as well. But this is really seismic news in the NBA for a sitting NBA head coach in Chauncey Billups to be arrested, taken into custody for alleged illegal gambling, as well as Terry Rozier for sports betting, allegedly. 2 arrests made this morning. There are expected to be numerous arrests also tied to both of these situations.
So the NBA wakes up this morning in the midst of, I suppose you would have to say, a sports league's worst nightmare. Is there any indication that the league had any idea this was coming? Did they know any of this might happen this morning?
As of last night, I was told the NBA did not have knowledge of these specific arrests. This has been led by the FBI. The FBI made their arrests early this morning. But the NBA has been investigating Terry Rozier, Malik Beasley. Terry Rozier was cleared by the NBA investigators over the last couple years. That's why he's been playing in games. Malik Beasley, a free agent, has not been cleared by the NBA's investigation. That's been ongoing. As of about 15, 20 minutes ago, I was told Malik Beasley was not taken into custody today as part of these gambling investigations and arrests today.
I mean, imagine being Adam Silver this morning. Your league just got back to playing games. I was fully prepared. I watched basketball last night. I watched the Grizzlies and the Pelicans. I watched the Spurs and the Mavericks. And I was fully prepared to come in here and talk about what an alien Wembanyama is, how much fun it was to watch Zion and Ja go back and forth, and yet I'm greeted instead with a scandal involving betting, which is about as much egg on the face of a professional sports league as we have had, again, since Tim Donaghy. But what was that, like 2006?
Yeah. No, this is, to Greeny's point, a sports league's worst nightmare, especially in this era where gambling has just taken over, and now these leagues are taking those dollars. And I don't know, maybe it's surprising that we haven't had a scandal like this with how widely accepted sports gambling has been.
Yeah, Robert, make sure I don't have a DraftKings read after this, please. It would be awkward.
And this goes back to, according to ESPN, Jonte Porter, the Raptors center that was banned from the NBA spring of 2024 for his role in a gambling scheme around prop bets. He awaits sentencing in December. So this has been going on. So Adam Silver is having probably the worst day of his life on this Thursday. And clearly this snuck up on him. And for the FBI to be involved. And Robert, can we hear some absolute heat? A scorching line from the New York Police Commissioner, Jessica Tisch, talking about Terry Rozier.
Players altered their performance or took themselves out of games to make sure that those bets paid out. One example occurred on March 23rd, 2023 in Charlotte. Terry Rozier, an NBA player now with the Miami Heat, but at the time playing for the Hornets, allegedly let others close to him know that he planned to leave the game early with a supposed injury. Using that information, members of the group placed more than $200,000 in wagers on his under statistics. Rozier exited the game after just 9 minutes, and those bets paid out, generating tens of thousands of dollars in profit. The proceeds were later delivered to his home, where the group counted their cash. As the NBA season tips off, his career is already benched, not for injury, but for integrity.
Ooh, hell yeah.
Ooh. Oh, my goodness.
That is some high heat.
His career is benched, not for injury, but for integrity. Sounds like a Batman line.
Am I the only one who's like, they made tens of thousands of dollars? It's like, that's not that much money for people like them. Like, it's like when you see the drug bust on Facebook and it's like, we were able to secure 3 grams from these drug dealers.
Sure, but that's one instance. And what they're saying is this investigation dates back at least 4 years. Victims in total so far have been cheated out of at least $7 million.
But to Robert's point, like, Terry Rozier, August 2021, signed a 4-year, $97 million contract.
Oh, yeah, no, it's stupid.
Extension with Charlotte. Like, this is always the part that baffles me. These are successful players. He's had a very good NBA career, right? Like, this isn't a deal where he's in the league for a couple of seasons trying to get what he's been in the league for a decade.
He's been a player for a long time. I don't know that I would define Terry Rozier's career as good.
He signed a $97 million contract. Like, I get it's the NBA. These contracts are huge, but he's been in the league for a decade.
He was a good player. He was a good player.
To his Heat. I mean, the Heat, Terry Rozier.
Well, sure. I mean, prior to him joining the Hornets, he was good on the Hornets for 2 years, too. I mean, he was a good player.
So, how the NBA handles this is going to be fascinating. How did they miss it, though? Because they already conducted an investigation around Terry Rozier, and they cleared him. So, not only are you waking up, if you're Adam Silver, to one of your active coaches and an active player being arrested by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, but it's one of the players that you cleared. That is the worst case scenario if you're Adam Silver. That is going to bring additional scrutiny on any of these leagues. And I mean, Roger Goodell is in court, or the league, the NFL is in court because of how the John Gruden situation was handled. And the NFL has not been able to basically back Gruden off, and Gruden keeps winning in court cases to where a lot of this stuff is going to be open for discovery. The sham that is internal investigations, or, okay, we'll go find our own independent arbiter to go through these things. And I'm not saying that every league internal investigation or every outsourced to an independent arbiter investigation is fraudulent in professional sports, but it certainly makes you look sideways at a few more of these.
Cleveland Cavaliers former player and current assistant coach Damon Jones was also among those arrested today. He allegedly provided inside info about NBA games to co-defendants that used it to place bets. The Chauncey Billups thing, though,
it's bad.
That's what is just so insane here. For it to not even have anything to do with sports gambling, with inside information. It's like, yeah, okay, all right. You've got this whole ring of NBA players, assistant coaches that are giving information that's winning people money. Obviously, it's a huge scandal. Oh, and here's a current sitting NBA coach that was participating in illegal poker games backed by mafia families.
Read the 4 names of the mafia families. Do you have them in front of you?
I don't. Please do.
I want you to do it in an Italian accent.
Well, now we're just Now we're just appropriating.
Ethnically charged. It's not racism. It's ethnically charged.
Go ahead. You do it.
Bonanno?
Joseph? Oh, my God. Taylor Zarzour calls him the crime boss on every Titans radio broadcast when he's going around the room.
What?
He does.
Why?
He does. He does, he's like, I had Taylor Zarzour, Dave McGinnis, Rhett Bryan, Luke Spinzik in studio,
boss.
the crime boss, Joseph Bonanno, Will Bowling, Amy Wells.
How bizarre.
I thought it was just a light quip.
No, turns out he's been involved in rigged illegal poker games with Chauncey Billups.
What would his mafia alias be? Like, would he be Like he would have to be something Squeak.
Yeah, rodent
It'd
adjacent.
be like, hey, where's Squeak at?
Rodent, please.
Squeak rolled over on us.
Maybe not rat, maybe mouse. He's more mouse than he is rat.
Yeah, you're the rat. You're the one that posted me digging into Slay's cookies. So
I'm sorry. Who's digging around in there like rodents?
all three of us, apparently.
No. I am the only one who has not had a stomach issue. Robert has been hovering over the toilet. No, because there is no evidence that I got into Slay's cookie stash. So it's Bonanno.
Yeah, because you're the only rat here. So rat's out of there. That's you. I think Squeak is good, though.
Squeak.
So the rigged illegal poker games, we're just going to start calling him Squeak. I'll have no idea unless he listens to the show. I would be surprised if he did. Bonanno, Gambino, is it Lucchese?
Yeah, Lucchese family.
Lucchese.
Been around for a while.
And Genovese? Genovese.
Wow.
Those are the four crime families, the organized crime families that are involved with Chauncey Billups and his illegal rigged poker game.
Is the mafia back?
I mean, apparently they never left. It just took Chauncey Billups to out them.
Goodness.
God bless. 615-737-1045. All right, we'll talk a little Vols. Obviously, the news of the week in the state of Tennessee is that Tony Vitello is leaving Rocky Top to become the next manager of the San Francisco Giants. That deal was made official yesterday by the Giants, and so we will get the details from Eric Kane coming up next. Welcome back to the show. Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. Eric Kane of VolQuest is here because Vitello Watch has officially ended. He's on to become the next manager of the San Francisco Giants. Took a pay cut to do so. I don't know if you saw the reporting around obviously we knew what kind of money he was making at Tennessee, but the kind of money he stands to make as the Giants manager plus California state taxes, he's kind of taking it on the chin there.
Big opportunity.
Eric, we appreciate you joining us. So are you glad that it's over? Because I have to imagine that most of you and your colleagues were staked out around Lindsey Nelson Stadium just trying to get some kind of indication of what Tony Vitello was going to do since this news came out Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, you make the jokes about, creeping in the bushes and all that, but no joke. I mean, sometimes part of this job, obviously, Buck, you know how it is. You just got to follow around, look for any indication, body language, what time they're arriving on campus, if they're on campus, when are they leaving, timestamps. I spent a lot of time over on campus this week at the Lindsey Nelson Stadium. A couple of us have. And so Vitello Watch is officially over. Yeah, he's going to San Francisco, and that's an unprecedented move for sure. Glad that phase of it's over because, I mean, there's been conversation about this for quite some time. It became real, last week, mid to late last week when, I think when Nick Hundley took his name out of the hat and then they kind of circled back around, and there's a pre-existing relationship there with Buster Posey. Obviously, he likes Tony, and things heated up this weekend. And then it was kind of a matter of, well, is he going to do it or is he not going to do it? And I think he was torn. I think that he really labored with the decision, but ultimately decided to go and give his try at the big leagues. And so I'm glad that phase of it's over, and now a new phase and trying to find who Tennessee's going to coach and hire as a next head coach.
Do we have any indication on what he was weighing? What was the cost benefit analysis for him? I understand that, I'm sure at some point he's going to speak and they'll introduce him officially and he'll be asked these kind of questions. But I'm just curious to know if there was any kind of information on what his logic behind staying possibly could have been, given that this is an opportunity beyond just the money situation.
Yeah, I mean, there's always, you want more resources. You want. Every coach in America wants more. And the way the college landscape has evolved over the last 5-6 years, it's, now you got revenue share, you have a third bucket NIL, you've got, locker room, the old stuff, right? Locker rooms, weight rooms, stuff like that. I mean, Tennessee's funded $109 million renovation to the stadium right now. So you're always wanting more. And there's always constant dialogue between a coach on campus, administration, saying, hey, I want this, I want this, I want this. Now you got to deal with roster sizes. That's completely changed in college baseball now. So, I mean, there's always some of that, but that's happening everywhere in the country. That's happening all across the SEC. I think more than anything, Tony's a loyal guy. He brought these kids to campus. Okay, he's not married. He has no kids of his own. He brought these kids to campus, said he was going to coach them, said he was going to develop them. He's got 2 really good recruiting classes, one that's about signing day is coming up in a couple of weeks for the 26 class. He's got a loaded 27 class. And, I think the loyalty aspect weighs on him. I think he enjoys coaching here at Tennessee. I think he enjoys living in East Tennessee. And then obviously you look at what he built. He rebuilt this program. It had good times before, but not good times when he was hired. And so I think all of that, for a normal person, it's a no-brainer. You jump at the big leagues and you go and do something that's never been done before. But for a guy like Tony, I think that stuff really labored on him, and he deliberated over the last couple of weeks and tried to make sure he was making the right decision for him, and ultimately he chose the Giants.
@_Kaner is where you can follow Eric Kane. Of course, you can read all the work that he and his colleagues do at volquest.com.
So, obviously, Tennessee's investment into the baseball program has more than quadrupled in the time that Tony's been the head coach, and for good reason. Renovations underway, like you said. Does Tennessee keep its foot on the gas, Eric, as it relates to the money that's being funneled into Tennessee baseball after this move?
I mean, I think you have to, right? There's 10, 11 suites in that new renovated stadium, and you got to sell those out. And I mean, the investment you're putting into your stadium, the $109 million, I think you got to have foot on the gas pedal and keep going. And I think it will. I mean, Tennessee's a destination for college baseball now, and the way college baseball continues to grow, and you have these guys coming out of high school where a couple of years ago it'd be a no-brainer. You just go and sign, and then you start your minor league journey, ride on a bus and advance A ball or whatever. Now you can go to college for a couple of years and improve your stock and make some money, and then you're fast tracked to the big leagues. You're seeing that all over college baseball right now. So yeah, I think Tennessee will continue to pour in and continue to invest in this program because of where it is now. I mean, you just won a national championship 18 months ago, and you got everything at your disposal to go win now. So whoever is coaching Tennessee baseball in the spring is going to have kind of the keys to the Ferrari, if you will. It's a good roster. Yeah, sure, these guys, they'll have a 30-day window. They can enter the transfer portal, but unless you are a graduate student, you won't be eligible unless you transfer down, and nobody's going to transfer down. So going to have a good roster, and I think that the investment into the Tennessee baseball program will continue to be there.
Before we talk about who the next head coach is going to be, I think the worst form of BVS right now, Eric, is having a premonition that Tony Vitello will be to Tennessee what Nick Saban was to LSU, right? Win a national championship, have all of this success, go to the pros, not necessarily work out, and then come back and dominate at another school, at a rival school. What do you make of Tony's fit in San Francisco and how much success he can have so that kind of worst-case scenario does not happen for Tennessee fans?
Well, just know that's always on the table. I mean, college baseball is always here for Tony Vitello, and he can pick his job if he ever wants to come back, right? So there's that. As far as his fit in San Francisco, I don't know. I'm going to be intrigued. I think everybody in the sports world, specifically everybody that is involved in Major League Baseball and follows the sport of baseball, is going to be intrigued to see how this works out. Again, this has never happened before. A sitting college head coach who has no prior professional coaching or playing experience getting this job. And so I think everybody's either going to tune in to see if it works out or see if it's a train wreck or whatever. I think they bought into Tony, his culture, his clubhouse guy, his ability to bring people together and to push them towards one common goal. I mean, obviously he did that here at Tennessee. And then, of course, look at the development from he and his staff and all these players who were, again, accelerated to the big leagues. So I think there's a lot of buy-in to Tony Vitello, and they're trying to shake things up in San Francisco, trying to pull 180 about what's in that clubhouse right now. I think Buster Posey's taking a massive risk, but certainly I'm not betting against Tony Vitello, and I don't think anybody else will. But the possibility of coming back to the college game and coaching at some other school in the SEC or some other school, I mean, that's real, right? Depending on how he does in the major leagues, maybe it's successful, maybe it's not, but you can't always just fear the worst because that's a couple years down the line, but that's absolutely a possibility, and hopefully that won't happen.
Talking about Tony Vitello's departure from Knoxville, headed to San Francisco, where he will be the next manager of the Giants with Eric Kane of VolQuest. There was an interesting dynamic because there was so much time and because people tend to freak out and because we all have social media to express these feelings instantaneously, rightly or wrongly. We started getting some calls, and I'm sure Knoxville Sports Talk Radio has been that times 10. The idea that there was a contingent of Vols fans frustrated with Danny White and his inability to keep Tony Vitello. What details can you share on the efforts that the Vols made to keep him? And what is the relationship like between Vitello and Danny White? Because it sounds like there may be at least a little bit of tension there.
Well, I mean, we asked Danny White about this in the press conference, and, he had nothing, in front of the podium. He had nothing but great things to say about Tony Vitello and thanked him and thanked his staff and credited all the success and, kind of where this baseball program is, why it is going to be one of the most attractive jobs in all of college baseball because of Tony Vitello. So, I mean, he said all the right things. Do I think those guys are best friends and go to dinner and stuff? No, I don't. I don't know how many coaches are like that with their athletic directors across the country anyway. Kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. I mean, it's an ongoing battle. Coaches are wanting more, and it's in their right. They want to go win. They want to go win national championships. They want to have every advantage and be as competitive as they possibly can be to go and beat the Arkansas and beat the LSUs and be the team in the SEC every year. So I think that there's so much dialogue there. And I mean, there's probably frustrations on both ends, but again, I think that's everywhere. I do. Tennessee did not want Tony to go. There's communication there all throughout the weekend, throughout the first part of this week. I mean, it was back and forth. Tennessee certainly did not want Tony Vitello to go. They're not anybody suggesting that they're just going to let him walk. I don't think that that's accurate. I mean, there was obviously a lot of people that were trying to keep him here, talking with him in his camp and trying to see, hey, what's it going to take? What do we need to do and stuff like that. But ultimately, sure, there could be some things into that regard. But I think at the end of the day, it's the Giants. There's 1 of 30 jobs. And if you're a baseball lifer and you love this game like he does, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And I think that outweighs anything else in this conversation. There could be other contributing factors, sure. But that in itself is the biggest domino, and I think that was the biggest deciding factor.
Eric Kane of VolQuest with us. So naturally, the next question are about the next steps, right, Eric? I mean, how much of an exodus do we potentially see with this roster? How much of that is contingent on whether or not Josh Elander gets the job, as former players are campaigning for him on social media? Frank Anderson, the interim coach, just what do you make of this next phase for Tennessee baseball and what the search will look like for Danny White?
Interesting move to have Frank Anderson as your interim. Now, I mean, he's a former head coach. He's a veteran. He's coached forever. Like that. It's not like he's a bad choice at all. It makes sense in that regard. But I mean, Josh Elander is obviously a candidate for this job, and Danny White said as much yesterday. He's been the associate head coach when Tony's been ejected or suspended or whatever. Josh Elander is the one that's kind of stepped into that head coaching role and performed those duties. So it was interesting when he wasn't named interim. Now, I asked Danny White why, and he said that he wanted him to focus on his candidacy. He wanted him to focus on the interview process and not managing the day-to-day of the team right now that's still in fall practice and scheduled to be in Nashville on Saturday and scrimmaging and all that, and said that he wanted to focus on his candidacy. So, that's what Danny White said. We'll see. Obviously, I think that most Tennessee fans want Josh Elander. I think, obviously, the players are always going to want their guy. We saw that at Texas A&M a couple of years ago. They're always going to want their guy, and that's understandable. But Josh Elander's kind of poised, man. Like, he's been Tony Vitello's right-hand man. He's been the recruiting coordinator. He's been the hitting coach. What has Tennessee done very well during this time? They've hit the crap out of the baseball, and they've got the best players on campus consistently. Josh Elander's had not the biggest hand, that's Tony Vitello, but he's had a massive hand in accomplishing those feats. So I'll be intrigued to see. Look at Danny White's track record. Took a chance on a Division III football coach at Buffalo, hired a high school basketball coach while at Buffalo. Kim Caldwell, a year removed from coaching D2, he's not afraid to go and make a splash and make an unconventional hire. He also promoted a soccer coach, it was a long time on staff, and promoted him to head coach a couple of years ago here at Tennessee. So, yeah, I can see Josh Elander certainly being the guy. But there's a national search. He's hired a search firm. They're going to go throughout the process, and it'll be intriguing to see the twists and turns of coaching searches that are always exciting and always fun to cover.
Season will be here before we know it, too. To switch gears a little bit, Eric, Tennessee obviously trying to bounce back from the loss at Alabama, headed up to Kentucky. How much of a good thing is it maybe that Kentucky played Texas as close as they did last weekend, and it doesn't set up for a look-ahead spot for Tennessee with a pretty big game coming down the pipe the following week at Neyland Stadium against Oklahoma?
Yeah, I mean, I like the maturity of this football team. I think there's some good leaders, some veteran leaders that have played a lot of football on both sides of the ball. So I wasn't ever kind of worried about them looking ahead. But if there was any worry in that regard, you're exactly right. I mean, Kentucky took Texas, who I don't think Texas is very good, but they got a stout defense. Took them to overtime. And so you can't afford to overlook anybody, especially on the road in this league. Oklahoma's going to be a massive game next week. But the way that you lost to Alabama, I think it's imperative just to get off to a quick start, pick yourself up off the mat. This is not a good Kentucky team. They're scrappy. I think they're going to get somebody. I mean, they play Ole Miss better than anybody in the conference. It feels like they almost beat Texas. So I mean, they're a scrappy bunch. But it's not a good football team, in my opinion, when you compare it to a team like Tennessee. And I know Tennessee has some faults. So I think it's a good thing that they kind of played Texas very well. But I wasn't really worried about Tennessee overlooking Kentucky because, again, last couple of years under Josh Heupel up there in Lexington, it's been a one-score game. So I think it'll be more than a one-score game in this one with Tennessee being the victor, but you certainly can't sleepwalk through any of these games this year in the Southeastern Conference.
Football, all well and good. I forgot to ask about Kurt Schilling. Why the hell is Buster Olney tweeting that Kurt Schilling is interested in the job because he lives in the state of Tennessee? Eric, help me understand this.
Because Kurt Schilling quote tweeted somebody yesterday and said, wow, very interesting, or very awesome job. I'm very interested. That's why. Yeah,
well, it's because it was Buster Olney that he quote tweeted. I assume that Schilling got in touch with Buster Olney or some representation for Kurt Schilling got a hold of Buster Olney to put that news out there or that tidbit out there. Very interested is the quote. What an incredible program to potentially be a part of. Does the national coaching search include Kurt Schilling?
I have not heard that name yet, but I don't think that would be a route that they would go. But again, Danny White's not afraid to make a splash hire. So
we're talking unconventional. How about a guy who's never held a coaching post in his life?
Stop it right now.
And then going to walk into this climate of college athletics. No, thank you.
Yeah. Eric Kane of VolQuest has been kind enough to lend us his time and his talent. Thank you, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
Kurt Schilling.
I love you, Eric. Come on.
The way that we both looked at the microphone and then spat out Kurt Schilling.
He didn't hear you, Bert. He didn't hear you.
I was late.
You were late on it.
I was late.
Yeah, is there anything more annoying than reputable reporters coming out there and quote unquote reporting about just big names that are Kurt Schilling is among those interested.
I mean,
great. He's a legend. He's never coached for money a day in his life.
Am I upset at Buster Olney? No. It's kind of like Trey Wingo tweeting that the Cowboys are calling the Raiders about Max Crosby. Everybody is calling about everybody ahead of the trade deadline. Because he mentioned the Cowboys and a star player, it got more attention or engagement or whatever. I don't think that Buster Olney needs to rage bait, right? Like, I think Buster Olney is a reputable news source, and he has been informed that a former MLB star, embattled MLB star, who's been out of the game and away from the game for quite some time, is interested in a head coaching vacancy at a national championship caliber program. I suppose that is indeed newsworthy. It is also infuriating, to your point.
Yeah. Well, what are we doing, man? Oh, man. All right. Well, let's see if some of the BVS can be tamped down as Tennessee heads up to good old Kentucky.
I was about to say, how much are Vols fans just hoping that their football team alleviates some of the frustrations of losing to Alabama, then losing Tony Vitello on the perpetual doormat that is Kentucky football?
I do think they need to go up and just smack Kentucky around. Like, I feel like this needs to be a cathartic weekend for Tennessee football.
Too.
They did. Kentucky was the better team in that game, by the way. Texas was incredibly fortunate to win that game. They were bailed out. We can go look at the team stats. Kentucky bested Texas in almost every important stat in that game, outgained them, all of these things. So, obviously, Tennessee's had that success, but I do think we need to give Kentucky some credit. To Eric's point, they've played Ole Miss closer than almost anybody in the SEC other than Georgia. And I guess there's no such thing as an easy out in this conference this week, but obviously Tennessee has not had much of a problem just sending Kentucky on their way in these games.
If I told you that in the Texas-Kentucky game, there was a quarterback that was 31 of 39 for 258 yards passing, no touchdowns and an interception, but averaged 6.6 yards per attempt. And I told you that quarterback was not Arch Manning.
Yeah. Cutter
Boley?
Yeah, Cutter Boley, who replaced, oh, goodness, it's already escaping me. Zach Calzada, who's on his 8th college football team. Yes. So Tennessee's got to go up there and just take care of business, man. Just don't shoot yourself in the only thing that can beat Tennessee Saturday is Tennessee as they head up to Kroger Field and grab some eggs and milk on the way out.
Cam Ward spoke about facing a divisional opponent for the first time in several weeks. The Titans traveled to the Indianapolis Colts on Sunday. What did he have to say about his first opportunity to watch tape of himself against an NFL team ahead of another game against an NFL team? You will hear from the starting quarterback coming up next. Erectile dysfunction can wreck your confidence. It can impact your relationship, your mental health, and even your sense of identity. But the good news is there's real help. Since 2014, the Tennessee Men's Clinic has helped thousands of guys get back to feeling like themselves. These aren't cookie-cutter treatments. The Tennessee Men's Clinic is urology-based and staffed with multiple licensed providers who specialize in men's sexual health. They use proven treatments tailored to your specific situation. No one size fits all. Whether you're dealing with mild or moderate ED, performance issues, or even conditions like Peyronie's disease, their medical team will work with you to create a plan that gets results, often with options most guys didn't even know were out there. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes a full medical consultation, blood work, and if medically advised, a test dose right there in the office. So stop procrastinating and call today at 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090 or book easily online at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. That I would care if it Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. You can call us, 615-737-1045. You can interact with us via the F&M Bank chat, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and on Twitch, where Jordan Sims on YouTube says, hot mic. I didn't turn my mic on.
Oh, really? Because that was your voice.
What happened back there?
No, this is, I think, a lack of accountability on your part.
Somebody not doing their job correctly?
Is somebody not doing their job correctly? Oh, hot mic! Hot mic!
What happened? Why did you
YouTube
play
complains if they
noise of
can't hear
me?
something. YouTube complains if they do hear something. Pick a side, buddy. Pick a side. Oh, sorry, trying to get work done over here, and I left the dadgum Zoom pot up. So then Buck's annoying voice, you sound like a walrus. That's what happened.
Ooh, what kind of animal would all of us be based on our voices?
I would be an orangutan.
No.
I've got the belly. I've got the hair.
No, I'm not talking about the visual of you. Yes, visually you would be an orangutan for your
love
voice.
Yeah, they're awesome.
They're very cool.
All monkeys are awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
I want a pet monkey so bad.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea until it rips your face off.
No, I want like a capuchin, like a little like you can hang out on the
like a
shoulder.
little tiny.
God, they're so awesome.
How do they go to the bathroom? Do they have to wear a diaper?
From their butt.
Yeah, you can wear a diaper. Megan won't let me though.
Thank God.
You would be a walrus with a monocle. Lucas would be a little lemur, like from Madagascar, those little things. And then I would be...
An orangutan is too wise and calm.
I am wise and calm,
Not your
buddy.
voice.
I like something that has a good outburst. Like Robert has a good sounding outburst. You know how some people just...
I would probably be a rooster.
Okay, that's good.
Like a big Spanish rooster, a big mane, and some spurs to stick in Buck's walrus eyes. Like, I swear to God, I'd just be trying to do work, be in my own little zone, and then all we have to do would be like, what happened? But, somebody doesn't have a...
I like that the one time I nagged you about performance you made, you did my voice in Cheyenne's voice that you do.
That is just my annoying voice. That is my nagging voice.
Why is your Cheyenne voice the annoying voice every time, Robert?
Well, because it's... Don't you have some sports to talk about or something, dude?
I like Robert's angry voice. You know, some people just have a good angry voice. Like Bill Burr has made a career of just being so good at being angry. I think Robert has a career in that too. I wonder what Cam Ward sounds like when he's angry.
I was just about to transition.
No, I got it for you. I'm better at it.
That's what most of the people in Nashville have been expecting you to say.
What, were you delayed on that one? There was an unnamed member of the Titans media corps that was saying the same thing about Vitello yesterday, about is he going to take his fur coats with him to San Francisco?
It seems like it.
Yeah.
It gets a little chilly out there at night. You might need them.
I bet the room could guess which unnamed media member thinks that Tony Vitello is a fraud. Titans media member. Anyway.
Does anyone think Cam Ward is a fraud?
Oh, probably.
That was just a transition. You don't have to answer.
It was a bad one. I think that it is going to be interesting to see what he looks like against the Colts because his defense isn't going to be able to stop a nosebleed on Sunday, right? Like the most improbable thing is that the Titans defense, without their best player, Jeffrey Simmons. Jeff has not been officially ruled out. It's worth saying that Jeff Simmons is not officially ruled out. He did not practice yesterday. He's got a hamstring issue. He was ruled out of that game very quickly on Sunday against the Patriots. It would be an upset if Jeff Simmons did play in Indianapolis. It's not determined yet, though, so we will not treat it as such. But assuming that Jeffrey Simmons does not play against the Colts, that is going to be really hard to face the league's best offense without the Titans' defensively best player. But Cam Ward is going to have the first opportunity of his career to face an opponent for the second time. Divisional games have been played, obviously, for the Titans at this point. They have one against the Texans, one against the Colts. Both were ass whippings, but Cam Ward, at least now, can watch himself on tape against the Colts defense and say, okay, I did this here incorrectly. This was a winning play for us. Here's the kind of stuff that they've done differently in the last couple of weeks. Robert, if you're not too busy, let me hear from Cam Ward talking about the opportunity to face the Colts again this coming Sunday.
Been on tape from the first game from you guys against the Colts versus the games that they've played since then?
A lot, because they had some success in some areas, so I went they want to do it again, but you also got to be prepared for what they've done past us. We got to adjust to it.
What was the experience like for you going back, seeing some of the things that you were doing then versus the progress that you may have made since then?
I just think the growth that I had just in terms of getting the ball out, giving my guys a chance, and then just through that first time we played them, we see where we were when we're moving the ball, when guys are making plays for each other. Then we're also seeing, like, when we're not moving the ball, how bad it can get. So we just got to move the ball.
So really the only thing to take away there is that he's getting the ball out quicker now than he was against the Colts. Now, we know how the Colts game started, right? It's the first drive that the Titans have, and Cam Ward throws the first pick six. Was that his first interception of his career?
It was in week 3, so yes. Right? Because he didn't throw a pick in week 1,
Not in Denver.
Yeah,
not
that was his first
Rams.
career interception.
First career interception. He changes the play, or he has a miscue. I can't remember exactly what he told us after that game, but he had a miscue. He tried to throw to Tony Pollard in the flat. Kenny Moore, the Colts defensive back, read it like a book, picked it off, took it to the house, and the game, spiraled from there. Not just because of the error, but we know the Titans' offense has enough difficulties as is. They were going to have a hard time overcoming an immediate 7-0 deficit. Was that the game that Callahan opted to start with the ball, too? Like they won the coin toss and took the ball?
They took the football. It was also the end of first half debacle, taking the delay of game and sending Sly out there for the 62-yard field goal.
A mess.
The K-ball situation. Cam was 23 of 38 against Indy, 219 yards, a touchdown, an interception, a rating of 74.3. Titans were outgained 365 to 282. They were outrushed 137 to 86. But a big chunk of that, the 46-yard run by Jonathan Taylor, late in the third quarter, that made it 34-13. Then going into the fourth, at that score, game was all but over, and Cam Ward had the touchdown pass to Alec Iomanner there late in what was essentially garbage time.
Yeah, and Jonathan Taylor had 3 rushing touchdowns on the day.
Yes,
so.
And he continues to have a remarkable season.
He's a stud.
And he was last year, too, and it went kind of under the radar because of how good Saquon and Derrick Henry were.
So, how many growth opportunities? We're talking about how can you start to stack successes. Again, they did not have a winning formula on Sunday against the Patriots. We understand that Cam Ward was a part of the problem, but he was also at least a part of the reason why they held a lead for a period of time in that game, why they pushed the Patriots in the first half, and then things started to unravel because he's on a bad football team at the end of the day and he's still having turnover issues. Now, something that was pointed out, and forgive me, I can't remember the Twitter account, a Titans fan account, that had Cam Ward's turnover-worthy plays. He's not actually committing so many turnover-worthy plays, but he has lost a disproportionate amount of fumbles. He has fumbled 5 times and lost each one.
It leads the league in lost fumbles, yeah.
Yes. He has more interceptions than he does touchdown passes at this point in time as well. But, like, when I watch him, yeah, he does some things that will – he turns the ball over at a disproportionate rate. But when I watch him in the passing game, like, I don't feel like some of these passes are disproportionately putting the ball in harm's way, if that makes sense. Like, there are some inaccuracies, but he's throwing some of these tight. I mean, the Chimere DK touchdown, or some of the completions that he threw to Chimere DK on Sunday. There are some tight window throws there that don't ever look like it's really in danger of a defensive back making the play, but it is. He's obviously confident that he can fit a ball in there, and it's not like, I don't feel like that's a turnover-worthy play, even though it's a throw that I think most quarterbacks would probably not be comfortable making.
I mean, we always do this thing where we ask people to describe so-and-so's performance in one word, right? The one-word thing. For Cam, all season for me, it's been sporadic because he has pushed the ball downfield and made some throws that are exactly what you expect from your number 1 overall pick. And he's also done some things that are exactly what you expect from your rookie starting quarterback. The interception to intended for Chigakonkwo was behind Chigakonkwo. Like, he's had some...
And tipped, but it was a bad throw.
No, it was behind him. It wasn't a good throw, right? Even on the 10 of 11 start on Sunday, where Cam started hot, the one incompletion was a miss, throwing it behind Alec Iomanner, who was open on a 3rd and 7 that would have kept your opening drive moving and maybe gotten you into the red zone on a day where the Titans didn't get into the red zone and you settled for a field goal. So, again, people want to make these definitive statements on Cam Ward. The reality to me is he has been, through 7 games, a pretty typical rookie starting quarterback with the good that you get from a dynamic player, a number 1 overall pick talent, and the bad that you get from a guy playing in the National Football League for the first time and seeing all of these things for the first time.
They followed up Arizona, the win, the last time that Cam Ward had a quarter like he just had against the Patriots. Again, that's for me, it's incomplete. The one word to describe Cam Ward's performances. He's done it sporadically, to your point. He's done it in spurts. He's done it for... I don't even know if there is a quarter in the Broncos game or the Rams game certainly not in the Texans game or the Raiders game, that was anywhere close to what he did against New England for a quarter and change, and then in the fourth quarter against Arizona, where he looked to be moving the ball down the field within the scope of the offense, which is also a part of this context here. So in reality, Cam Ward has had 2 good quarters in 7 games of football where you feel like he's doing the things that he's supposed to do in concert with the offense. So I'm not saying that they have to go out there and beat the Colts for Cam Ward to show growth, right? Growth and progress. But I do want to see him play a complete half of football, more than just a quarter here and there sprinkled across a 7-game sample size. We're just looking for indicators that he's making progress. Coming up next, we are going to talk about Clark Lee and the job that he's done at Vanderbilt, given that they're hosting game day this weekend, how it compares to what James Franklin did on West End during his tenure there. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone.
It is 11:03. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Lucas Panzica. The first injury report of the week for the Titans came out Wednesday. Jeffrey Simmons did not practice with a hamstring. Mike McCoy said yesterday that Simmons will be week to week. He also said L'Jarius Sneed is set to miss some time with his quad injury. Calvin Ridley, Bryce Oliver, and Arden Key were among the players that did not practice yesterday. In NBA news, Portland Trail Blazers coach Chauncey Billups and Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier were arrested this morning as part of a larger investigation related to illegal gambling across the NBA. Thursday Night Football tonight is at SoFi Stadium as the Chargers host the Vikings. Kickoff at 7:15. You can hear the Westwood One call right here on The Zone. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
The best football team in the state of Tennessee right now is Vanderbilt. Now, in a normal year, you might say, well, my God, how down tremendous is the state of Tennessee regarding the sport of football? And yet Vandy is a dominant force, a ranked team, a potential college football playoff contender, or at least participant at this point in time, hosting Missouri for the college game day atmosphere, another game between two ranked conference opponents, and looking to build on the momentum after beating LSU last week. Vandy is a fascinating case study, and I've said it many times so far. Welcome back to the show, by the way. Robert Lucas and me with you until 1 o'clock. Nate Washington will join us at 12:20. We'll talk a little more Titans then. But I've said it many times, I don't know how to stop being fascinated with the idea of Vandy being this good. And I feel like I am okay in doing that still because there are people who listen to the show or watch the show, and I don't see our resident Vandy fans, or at least I haven't seen our resident Vandy fans in the chat yet today, but there is one who yesterday made a comment to the effect of, I've been watching, Ricky on YouTube, said yesterday or something to the effect of, I've been watching Vanderbilt games my entire life, and I still don't believe what's going on West End right now.
It's a new age.
It's the age of Clark Lee on West End, also combined with the age of NIL and the age of Vanderbilt actually investing in football, which is a new circumstance. It's the age of Candace Story-Lee, who deserves a good bit of credit. We don't talk about her enough in the building up of this, in the financial investment, at least getting Vandy up to a certain level that it needed to be as far as facilities and competitiveness and, again, resources to make this thing a legitimate success. Also, it's the perfect storm of, hey, you just imported, where was Pavia and Jerry Kill? New Mexico State?
New Mexico State, yeah. That was the secret. Just basically, yeah, import New Mexico State's entire program. They brought the offensive coordinator over, the whole deal, and it's been a rocket ship. But the question that we have here is Clark Lee versus James Franklin. Not even who's done the better job, because Clark has Vanderbilt in a place in the top 10 that James Franklin never did. Mm-hmm. But, and maybe this is the same thing, but who had the tougher job? Whose success at Vanderbilt is more impressive, James Franklin or Clark Lee? And I think people will scoff at that question initially and say, of course it's Clark Lee. They're in the top 10 for the first time since the 1940s. They were favored against a ranked opponent for the first time since the 1940s. They're sitting in a position where they are legitimately a contender to make the college football playoff. Playoff wasn't around when Franklin was the head coach, but even if it was, he wouldn't have had Vanderbilt in that discussion. But I do think there's a conversation to be had there, because Clark Lee has something that James Franklin never did, and that's backing, right? That is a stadium that actually looks like a college football stadium, an environment that is so much more conducive to help you in recruiting, an athletic director that cares, an administration that has put their money where their mouth is in regards to athletics. James Franklin never had that. James Franklin also arrived at Vanderbilt and immediately made a bowl game, taking over a team that went 2-10 the year prior. And then in year 2, won 9 games. And then in year 3, won 9 games. He had much quicker success, and it was fleeting, and he bolts to Penn State. And obviously there was off-field stuff with James Franklin, but strictly talking about football here. For Clark Lea, it took a little longer to get the gears going. I also think Clark Lea inherited a worse situation than James Franklin, coming off that COVID year where Vandy was 0-9, and it was just a lifeless program where, yes, they were 2-10 in the last year of Bobby Johnson, but Bobby Johnson doesn't get enough credit, I don't think, for what he did at Vanderbilt to slowly bring that program along, get it to a place where it was ranked and hosting game day and had a winning season. Like, they've both done things that either have never been done in Vanderbilt history or are rarely done in Vandy history. James Franklin had back-to-back seasons finishing in the AP Top 25. Clark hasn't done that yet. James Franklin beat Tennessee, even though Tennessee was down. Clark hasn't done that. He has an opportunity to do that. But Clark also has Vandy in the top 10, which James Franklin never did. I think it's a very interesting conversation.
There was a gap between, at least according to College Football Reference, there was a gap between, and I don't remember this, between Bobby Johnson and James Franklin. Robbie Caldwell went 2-10 as the coach of Vanderbilt after Bobby Johnson's final season, which was 2-10 as well. Robbie Caldwell lasted one season, then they hired James Franklin. So I think that James Franklin...
Yeah, that's my mistake. You're right. That was not Bobby. That was not Bobby Johnson there that last year.
But what about Bobby Caldwell?
I suppose he could be called Bobby Caldwell.
Do for love. You tried everything, but you won't give up. In my world, only you. What I do for love, what I would not do. Wow.
Are you proud of that contribution?
As soon as you said Robbie Caldwell, I was like, oh, that guy. Yeah, I love that guy. And I was like, wait, that's not his name. Why would he coach Vanderbilt?
At some point, we need... You mean Bobby Caldwell?
Yes. Well, why would Bobby Caldwell be coaching?
We needed a Burt album. I mean, there's so many. Talk about 40 bowls in 14 days.
Sounds like something.
Bobby Caldwell.
All of your favorite Burt songs in one place.
He's going to return to the Mac. Finance the production of this is going to be like that Jason Kelce Eagles offensive line Christmas album.
So good.
615-555 quadruple 5 for all of your favorite Burt memories.
Okay, why don't you workshop what albums you're going to cover, what songs you're going to cover on your album? While I send your ass to the Shadows. Go! Shadows.
Speaking of singers,
the Shadows bit loses its teeth when people can see that he hasn't actually been sent anywhere. Turn the lights off back there on the Burt cam so that people feel that I have sent you appropriately to the Shadows. Thank you.
Real quick, on that note, who do we think will be the guest picker on Saturday?
Oh, I guess they haven't announced it, have they?
Will they take an actual Vandy fan? Who's the most famous Vandy fan? Come on, it's obvious. He's a comedian, Nashville guy. He's been in studio, done stuff with 3HL.
Who?
Nate Bargatze.
Oh.
He's a Vandy diehard. Oh. A lifelong Vandy fan, but very outspoken about it. So will they get an actual famous Vandy fan like Nate Bargatze?
It's just the one, isn't it?
Or that's the only one. Skip Bayless. Oh, that would be amazing. He's a Vandy grad.
Skip Bayless's first
that would be amazing.
Will he workshop more hot takes like Travis Hunter shouldn't have been baptized on a game day before?
Oh, man.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. Or will they go just poach an ex-famous country singer that doesn't give a damn about Vanderbilt and put him on the desk to represent Nashville?
That's very mean to say about Jelly Roll.
No, Jelly, if anything, Jelly has represented Vandy. He's been on the floor. I'm talking about like if they just go get, I don't know, a Tim McGraw, like just a random country singer, a Kenny Chesney as he continues his tour of. No, I don't think Kenny would do that, but you get what my
as
point.
He continues his tour. Look at you, bitter Vols fan. His whole show at the Sphere is running through the T.
I know. I do believe Kenny is a Tennessee fan. He grew up a Tennessee fan. He has tended to, what's the word? You get what I'm saying.
I have no idea what you're
like when he tours in Gainesville, he'll like bring out Tim.
He capitulates.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. I'll be fascinated. Dierks Bentley went to Vandy, according to Nick in the chat. Is this?
He's also saying Chris Stapleton.
What?
Are we sure? I have no idea.
Is there proof of this? I think people are just making stuff up.
Quickly, use Google AI to fact check that incorrectly and give us some answer that's probably not right.
There's no way Chris Stapleton went to Vandy.
Either way, the point of this conversation that we started to have until we were
He studied biomedical engineering at Vanderbilt.
Who?
Wow, Chris Stapleton.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Dirks Bentley.
No, he switched to business school, but he discovered that, this is Wikipedia, that songwriting could be a career after meeting a salaried songwriter, and he took to, that is amazing. Okay, Chris Stapleton. Respect.
Somebody in the chat said Cutler. I don't think it's going to be Jay Cutler because the body cam of his DUI just came out.
That would be good.
Would it? Like, would Cutler actually be good? I know he was kind of funny on Very Cavallari, but
Dirks Bentley also graduated from Vanderbilt. I didn't know this. Okay.
Apparently Stapleton dropped out.
They've got options.
Excellent work by them. 615-737-1045. So to put a bow on this conversation, James Franklin had the harder job at Vanderbilt. James Franklin, and again, Clark Lee's story here is not yet written, and James Franklin only had, 3 seasons as the head coach of Vanderbilt. But what was the common theme of James Franklin at Vanderbilt? They made a bowl game every year. They had the Liberty Bowl, they lost. They won the Music City Bowl in 2012. They won the BBVA Compass Bowl in 2013, and then he left for Penn State. Derek Mason then took over the job, went 3-9, 4-8, never had a winning season at Vanderbilt. Clark Lee's first couple of years, 2-10, 5-7, 2-10, and then 7-6 with a Birmingham Bowl win. Now 6-1 as a top 10 team in the country. So while it is awesome what both of them did during their time on West End, the degree of difficulty, I feel like, for James Franklin was harder.
Yes, but Clark Lee has taken them to heights that James Franklin did not.
Correct.
So both, obviously, they're the two best coaches in modern Vanderbilt history. Anderson Cooper is a Vanderbilt. I am learning so much.
Anderson Cooper?
He literally is a Vanderbilt. He was born in New York City to Wyatt Emery Cooper and Gloria Vanderbilt, whose maternal grandparents were millionaire equestrian Reginald Vanderbilt of the Vanderbilt family, whose great-grandfather was Cornelius Vanderbilt. I am learning so much.
And only took Bert breaking out in song for us to finally get back around to the topic. 615-737-1045 is how you join the conversation. We can take your phone calls. If you would like to talk about Vanderbilt football, we can do just that. We could also get into something, a popular, or would you describe this player, without giving away the player, would you describe the player that we're getting ready to talk about on the Titans roster next as popular, polarizing, or both?
Find out next.
Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. I have officially lost Lucas and Robert for the rest of the show because their lunch is here.
No, we're here, dude. I can eat and talk at the same time.
I know, it's disgusting. I've seen you do it. I see Lucas attempt it on a regular basis while he's picking Ron Slay's goodies out of his teeth.
You're next.
I need some.
I'm not, because I didn't steal his snacks.
Yes, you did.
The way that the two of you did.
Okay, so with that clarification, you did steal the snacks, but not in the way that we did.
Where's your proof?
Okay. Thank
You just said that. That is what you just said. I did not steal the snacks in the way that you and Lucas did.
No, implying that you two stole his snacks.
No,
and I
if
did
you
not.
actually didn't, you would have just said, I didn't steal them.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you guys stole them.
This
And you
is fishy.
said,
Ron, poison him. Poison him now, Ron.
I heard you got this morning.
I did. I was
one by one.
I was a faucet. Just my belly. And actually, if we're being
Not in the way that most people conventionally are a faucet.
in the fun way, I will say Ron did poison me, but in the not fun way, it was all my fault because in my sleep last night I woke up and ate I think it was 8 packages of mini M&M peanuts.
Oh, are you just buying those in bulk?
No, Cheyenne bought them at the. I don't know how they end up there
For Halloween.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. All I know
so you're
is
cheap. You don't buy the full-size candy bars.
I don't buy any of them. It's her. I don't buy any of the candy. So
you need to dump yourself.
No, there's nothing to dump.
I didn't even say anything.
He didn't say nothing.
He said that bleeps her.
No, he didn't. He didn't.
All right. Well, I'm just going to take myself to the shadows and eat both of these sandwiches.
No.
What kind of sandwiches did you get?
Don't worry about it.
I would love to stop worrying about Xavier Restrepo, if for no other reason than I'm tired of people asking about it. Like, I would love for them to either just call him up and be done with it already, or for Titans fans to put it to the side. I think one is more likely to happen than the other. So at some point, we have no idea. Maybe the Titans go the rest of the season without calling up Xavier Restrepo, maybe because they're down bad at wide receiver and they have lost, or Tyler Lockett asked for his release. By the way, he had a lovely post thanking the Titans organization because he's a good person, which was cool to see, I'm sure, because Titans fans are very upset about the idea of people just up and quitting on their team here lately, and Tyler Lockett asking for his release. A little bit different. So maybe because Calvin Ridley's not practicing, Bryce Oliver is still dealing with the residual effects from his knee issue. Maybe this is the week. Maybe next week's the week. Maybe after the bye is the week. Who's to say? But at a certain point, I do understand why fans are just like, bleep it, try something.
Yeah, especially as far as the rookies are concerned, because that was the bright spot of that first half surge against New England. The rookies, his first 6 completions were to rookie pass catchers. 10 of his 34, Cam Ward's 34 completions were to Chimere Dike, Gunnar Helm, Alec Iomanner. Just keep that train rolling with Xavier Restrepo.
Which one of the peons is back there to play the Xavier Restrepo audio that I want since Robert went to get your sandwiches?
We'll wait on Bert. Mason Kinsey got the call up last week. And I'm going to pull up the game book to see how many special team snaps he got. Obviously, he's not returning punts.
4 offensive snaps, right?
Yes, and I think a lot of that was tail end of the game.
Probably.
But Kinsey on special teams, because that's really the question here, right? How Kinsey had 22 special team snaps, 88% of these special team snaps.
Yeah, it's a special teams thing more than it is about will he get snaps on offense. Because Cam was asked yesterday about does he think that Xavier Restrepo has had opportunities. He was asked first, honestly, if he's even getting the opportunity to throw to Xavier Restrepo, because Xavier Restrepo doesn't practice with the offense. He is a practice team player, so he is wearing a number 11 jersey out there because he is he's catching passes from Trevor Siemian as opposed to Cam Ward, because he's out there trying to give the defense show team looks.
Yeah.
So now, what Xavier Restrepo also does that has been documented, I'm sure at length, is that he hangs back with Cam Ward after Cam Ward finishes practice, because Cam Ward has a pretty, I would say he takes about 25 additional minutes after practice to keep working on stuff. He does it pretty routinely every day. So, Xavier Restrepo, Robert, asked yesterday about any indication that he might get opportunities, or is he ready for opportunities that might come his way, yesterday with us in the locker room.
I mean, I'm just going to keep doing what I do every single day, just show up, put in the work, let my faith lead myself, and again, whatever the team needs to succeed, whether that's whatever it is, I'll do it.
How do you feel like your progress has gone so far this year?
Excuse me, sir?
How do you feel like your progress has gone so far this year?
I'll whisper in John Glenn.
I feel like me personally, I've jumped tremendous expectations for myself. I set goals for myself, and I'm exceeding them with great help from the strength and conditioning staff, from the nutrition staff, and from all my teammates.
What's your relationship like with Kinsey and Crochet, given that you're all kind of vying for the same opportunity?
Real good. Again, we want to see each other win. We're all competitors at the end of the day. And again, we're put on this earth to, play football and spread the gospel.
What kind of duties do you have on special teams? Because obviously guys who get called up from the practice squad generally get their first reps there.
No doubt. I mean, I'm willing to do whatever for special teams. Coach Bones knows that. And me, Coach Bones, Coach Stu, we work on multiple positions. I could go anywhere in the field.
What do you feel like?
So that's Xavier Restrepo in the locker room. Yesterday, Teron Davenport, who was at the end of that clip that you didn't get to hear the response, was saying, basically, how tough is it to practice all week, go through the rhythms, then not get to play a game? And Restrepo was diplomatic about it. I think he maybe responded in a way that indicated he leans on his faith in these situations. And he does spend a lot of time reposting Miami Hurricane stuff, a lot of his highlights from college and things like that, which is fine. I'm sure he misses playing in an actual football game as opposed to being on a 1-6 team on the practice squad. So we'll see what happens in Indy. We'll see if this is the week that they give him opportunities over Prochet and Mason Kinsey. Hell, they may call two of them up, right? Because if they're without Calvin Ridley, they're without Bryce Oliver, they're without Tyler Lockett, they can only elevate two guys from the practice squad, but they kind of need wide receivers.
Yeah, the Lockett thing is what makes it a real possibility, it feels like. Like that essentially is who Restrepo would be coming in for, right? He could play that same role. Lockett wasn't really playing special teams at that advanced age, right? I'll see he got, no special team snaps. Only had 14 snaps on offense on the day, Tyler Lockett. So this feels like the best opportunity for Restrepo to come in. And we've been talking all season about Cam Ward, big game hunter, right? That's been used a lot. Likes to pass up some of the check down stuff, some of the quick game stuff to look for the big play. Could there be anything to maybe Cam having more of an urge, a propensity, I don't know what the word would be, to take those easy plays if it's Restrepo that he's throwing the ball to? I mean,
is he open?
Sure. Yeah, this is assuming that he's open, that the play is there to be had.
Is that a safe assumption?
But I don't know. I mean, with the connection that they have and the amount of football they've played together, is there anything to that maybe that could be something that brings Cam along when it comes to just taking what the defense is giving you? Not that it should, right? Your relationship with the guy shouldn't be why you're getting him the football as opposed to taking other easy plays. But I don't know if it's a factor.
Well, I think that a lot of people would say, well, they just have banked reps. And it's why, like, for example, when A.J. Brown would miss time when he was on the Titans, he would come back into the lineup and him and Tannehill wouldn't miss a beat.
Yeah.
Because him and Tannehill had banked reps. And in fact, Tannehill's first season here was A.J. Brown's rookie season here. And before A.J. was a meaningful part of the starting lineup, Tannehill was the backup quarterback. He was catching a lot more passes from Ryan Tannehill. So even before the two of them were bona fide starters for the Titans, they had essentially a half a season's worth of backup reps together. It's been a long time since Xavier Restrepo and Cam Ward have both practiced, like within the concept and the construct of the offense, have practiced together or played in a game together. I mean, it's been a long time since they were playing college football together. And it was just the one season that they spent together at Miami. So that may have something to it. Clearly, Xavier Restrepo was a highly productive college player. If he goes in there and he catches two passes for 12 yards or something like that, does that put the Xavier Restrepo thing to rest? I don't know. They still may need him this season. Again, they are razor thin at wide receiver, and some of the receivers that they have are currently experiencing injury beyond the one that just asked for his release from the team. It may happen a couple of times this season because we still have 10 more games of this to get through. So if Xavier Restrepo goes out there and doesn't acquit himself the way that he expects to or the way that some of the fans expect him to, it's not the end of the world. It doesn't mean that the Xavier Restrepo thing has to be done just then and there. I do think it is still worth noting that he is a wide receiver, which is a premium position, and that every other NFL team has the opportunity to claim him off the Titans practice squad, but they would have to sign him to the active roster, and not a single NFL team has tried to pick him up off the practice squad.
I hope he goes for 8 catches for 105 yards so you can eat it.
Who?
Xavier Restrepo.
Who eats it?
You. Yeah.
Why me?
Oh, what? This is what's going to happen, Robert. Xavier Restrepo is going to come out and have a debut performance. The connection with Cam Ward will flourish, even if the Titans lose. And Titans fans are going to go at Buck. See, we told you we wanted him up. And what did I say?
I always said
I always said they should call up Xavier Restrepo.
And I've said that he's capable of doing these things.
I've always said this. I've always said his speed was adequate.
It's not translating to the field.
Yeah.
That has never once happened.
Or he would be like, it was a total fluke. He's got to do it again.
It's more likely to be that. That if Xavier Restrepo, honest to God, because I would mean it at that point. If he went out there and had, a statistically impressive performance, said, okay, do it again. Like you're an NFL player.
Yeah, but if he did that, he would prove a lot of people wrong, right? Because let's be honest, and like I joke, but like I've been in that same boat. We have been shooting down Titans fans all season that have been clamoring for Restrepo to be on the game day roster. We've been shooting it down, but guys, he's just not there. He's not one of the better.
We're only shooting it down because of the sheer volume of questions about it. Like, again, every team probably has some practice squad obsession or some backup quarterback fetish, for lack of a better term, that they just want to see the guy that's not out there because surely to God it's better than the guy I'm watching.
But at this point, yeah, you really have nothing to lose. Like it's week 8. You're 1-6. It's going to be Van Jefferson and a bunch of rookies out there catching passes. That's what it is. Tyler Lockett's out of the picture. That's your pass catching core this week.
Would you play Ridley if he's close? Because the trade deadline is looming, and I think you should make every effort to get Calvin Ridley. And it's not, again, it's just in the same that it's not personal about Xavier Restrepo's physical shortcomings, we'll call them. It's not personal about Calvin Ridley, but if I'm the Titans front office, I have to find a way to get Calvin Ridley off the roster for something.
I mean, Jeremy Fowler has, at every turn, reported that everyone not named Cam Ward or Jeffrey Simmons is on the table as the trade deadline approaches here in a couple weeks.
So what you're saying is they need to add Xavier Restrepo to their roster before someone claims him off the practice squad.
Yes, that is what I'm saying. Calvin Ridley did not practice again yesterday with that hamstring.
Were you on the show when I was talking about Tavondre Sweat? Like what would send the fan base spiraling if Tavondre Sweat got traded?
Oh, I either wasn't on the show or wasn't listening to you.
Likely the latter. I'd be curious to see what happens there. If there's any interest, return on investment, again, I think this was Tuesday that we talked about it when Lucas was out sick. Return on investment, you're not getting back a second-round pick for Tavondre Sweat at this point. But I'd be curious to see if there was any interest there and if the Titans might be willing to take a lesser value if they, like Jarvis Brownlee, didn't feel that was one of, quote-unquote, their guys. 615-737-1045. He got a sack.
Yeah.
I would love to see the two of them together, Jeff Simmons and Tavondre Sweat. That'd be swell at some point this season, but I don't know what that's going to look like or when that will happen or if it'll be meaningful when they do because they're 1-6 at this point in time.
Man, what has taken more hits, the front seven or the wide receiver room this season?
Or Cam.
Yeah. The answer is Cam.
But
offensive line?
Like more bodies have gone down in the front seven with Jeff and Arden Key and now Femi Oladejo and Tavondre Sweat missed all that time. But with how important Calvin Ridley is, like proportionately, I don't know which unit has taken a bigger blow.
Well, it's because it's Calvin Ridley and everybody else.
Yeah.
Versus at least you had some options up front, and then obviously that hasn't happened.
But just this rash of injuries with the front seven on a unit that already coming into the season did not have pass rushers that you felt like you can lean on that could make differences in games. And those guys haven't been on the field. Now have missed what will be multiple games for Femi Oladejo and have been multiple games for Arden Key. And now Jeffrey Simmons is in that mix right as you get Tavondre Sweat back. I said it the other day, like I can't help but feel for Denard Wilson this season.
Yeah, I think that's fair. But Denard Wilson also had input on trading for L'Jarius Sneed, right? Him and Brian Callahan. Like that wasn't, there's some of this that's self-inflicted. There's some of it that's just unfortunate for them. And some of it was always going to be the case because they're having to dig themselves out of a roster hole. Tyler Dial on YouTube says, we are in this hole because of terrible drafts by John Robinson. So let's fix it by also trading everyone Rand drafted afterwards. So this just continues. I'm not saying I would agree with Tavondre Sweat getting traded. In fact, I would be on the opposite side of that.
It would be right there with the Brownlee thing.
Jarvis Brownlee.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. But the thing, what's the difference between Jarvis Brownlee and Tavondre Sweat?
Well, a lot of weight.
Yes.
A couple 100 pounds.
Yes. We did talk about this on Tuesday. Dane Brugler came on with us the week after the draft, that Sweat Latham draft. I think it was right after, and said that a lot of teams had Sweat off their draft board. So what if Mike Borgonzi's on the Chiefs staff and they had Sweat off the draft board?
Yeah, but all of that stuff, the off-field stuff with the DUI, the weight issues, like I think Tavondre Sweat's done a really good job of kind of checking those boxes.
There is at least some mild level of frustration about his work ethic during the week when he's been available.
You have not said that before.
I'm saying it now.
Okay. You going to tiptoe around it, or are you going to say that?
I just did.
Okay.
There is some mild level of frustration about his work ethic during the week. And then he's good on game days. Like some guys are just like that, by the way. That can be okay. But I think that it would not, if they traded Tavondre Sweat, it would annoy me, but it would not shock me. 615-737-1045 is the number if you want to get in. Speaking of regret, well, we can actually talk about a trade for the Titans that was made 2 years ago today that they may be regretting that also involved Jarvis Brownlee. We can also discuss a team that moved on from their quarterback that might be regretting it that plays tonight. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. Financial independence is critical, and Trajan Wealth is here to help you achieve that goal if you have not done so already. If you are financially independent and you are planning for your retirement, Trajan Wealth can give you strategies that make the most sense for you moving forward, because unlike the changing leaves of fall, our money does not grow on trees. That's why you can give Trajan Wealth a call today to make sure that you're making the right financial moves for your future. I've talked about Trajan Wealth for a while now, and let me tell you, they make retirement planning simple. No pressure, no confusing jargon, just clear, honest advice from fiduciaries who put your goals first. You'll feel more confident, you'll feel more prepared, and honestly relieved once you speak with the representatives at Trajan Wealth. If you've ever wondered if your plan could be better, get a second opinion from Trajan Wealth today. 2 locations, Brentwood and Franklin. The number is 615-270-5000. That's 615-270-5000, or online at TrajanWealth.com. Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. This is a paid advertisement. Lucas, can you tell me what trade the Tennessee Titans made 2 years ago today?
2 years ago today.
What are you eating?
What? Like, don't do that.
People can hear you.
Don't do that like it sounds like I'm eating. Jimmy John's.
I can literally hear the roast beef stuck in your throat.
Good call, because it is roast beef.
Kevin Byard.
Kevin Byard was traded 2 years ago today. Do you remember, off the top of your head, what compensation the Titans got back from the Philadelphia Eagles at the time? Either of you, open to the room. You, the pear-shaped one in the back.
Yes, Terrell Edmonds, and I believe a 5th and 6th round pick.
In the 2024 draft.
Yeah.
That's correct. You can read Twitter well.
I ain't got nothing up, Daddy. Look over here. I got you up.
That's
I got your big ugly mug on my computer.
That's lovely. Why is my frame so much closer than Lucas's is?
I think it was just the angle you were looking at it.
Okay.
And your big ass head.
Oh, really? Between the two of us, I definitely do not have the bigger head. Anyway, well, metaphorically speaking. Kevin Byard traded 2 years ago today for Terrell Edmonds, a 2024 5th and a 2024 6th. Can anybody in the class tell me what those picks became? Because obviously Terrell Edmonds, safety, is no longer on the Titans.
Yeah, I wasn't here very long.
One of those 5th, I think, was Jarvis Brownlee.
It was indeed, who was also not with the team.
And the 6th, in the same year, that would have been Jaquan Jackson.
Jaquan Jackson,
goodness.
Indeed.
Robert's recall is just next level.
Jaquan Jackson. So none of the three players who were involved in the Kevin Byard trade are still on the roster. Jarvis Brownlee was obviously traded for a 6th. So basically you traded away Kevin Byard for a 6th round pick.
He's having a nice season too.
He's tied for the league lead in interceptions. He's got 4. He's tied with Devin Lloyd, Jags linebacker.
Exactly. So Byard's season intercepting passes a little more sustainable. Like Lloyd had this crazy run of 4 picks in the less than first half of the season. Byard's got a good shot to finish as the league leader in picks at the age of 32.
Yeah.
He leads the league in interceptions since 2016 with, I believe, like 33 interceptions, 32 interceptions, something like that.
Always where the ball is.
He's he was starting to tail off in Philadelphia, and then he's been in Chicago for 2 seasons now, and he looks much closer to form that we associate with Kevin Byard. He's played in all 33 games for the Eagles and for the Bears since he was traded. 33 possible games. Kevin Byard has started each and every one of them. So trade for the Titans.
Quietly, the Bears lead the league in takeaways. Bears defense.
Jags were up there for a while, but I think they've been on a bit of a dry spell the last couple of weeks, which has obviously impacted their performance.
Now, KB didn't really have injury issues in Tennessee. Like, availability was never a question ever in his career.
No, but they were citing age. And listen, I don't want to do things completely in retrospect because he was expensive, right? It was as much about clearing cap. They were trying to get out from under Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry, not trying to get out from under Derrick Henry, but they had a lot of expensive aging players at the time. So in theory, you could have made sense. But the fact that they squandered the assets that they got back for Kevin Byard, and that Kevin Byard is playing a much higher level of football than anybody on their football team right now, not named Jeffrey Simmons, is just unfortunate. It popped up on my timeline 2 years ago today. So that was a regrettable decision by the Titans organization. Are the Vikings, who are playing Thursday Night Football tonight, are they regretting moving on from Sam Darnold, who's got the Seahawks at 5-2, who's playing high-level football right now, for, in theory, J.J. McCarthy, who has not been healthy, but he's been out for quite some time now. Max Brosmer is the backup quarterback for the Vikings tonight, behind, again, Carson Wentz, who's making, I believe, his 4th start.
Yeah, the J.J. McCarthy experience has not been a successful one for Minnesota after that crazy second-half comeback against Chicago at Soldier Field. I feel like he wasn't supposed to be out this long, J.J. McCarthy.
I think people are starting to speculate about whether he is still as hurt as he was, or if there's maybe the idea that Carson Wentz or Max Brosmer might give them a better chance.
Oof.
I think this was always the timeline.
By the way.
This was always it was always going to be about a month. He's missed 3 games now.
I think this will be Wentz's fourth start, if I'm not mistaken.
So he was expected to miss at least a month with his initial injury, and I believe he was limited this week. I need to go back and check.
I'll pull up the injury report.
And it was an ankle?
High ankle sprain?
Yeah, high ankle. Okay, so that's about right for a high ankle sprain.
And I think
Fair
it
enough.
was the same leg that he had his torn meniscus in. So I'm not a doctor or anything, but I don't know if those things would relate or cause a longer healing process. But I do think he's on the original timeline.
But this would be his fifth game missed in a row.
He is questionable he is listed on their injury report as questionable. Obviously, they've already ruled players out because Thursday Night Football is tonight.
He's not playing tonight.
So, Vikings at the Chargers, which is an interesting game because obviously the Chargers are not in a great situation either, having as many injuries as they have had on the offensive side of the football. Minnesota trying to get above 500. They are currently 3-3. We had this conversation while you were out on Tuesday, the idea of regretting quarterback moves, because if I was Indy and I have Daniel Jones 1 year, $14 million, and Daniel Jones is obviously, at least on track right now. We got more than half of a season to play, but he's on track right now to be the comeback player of the year and has at least a seat at the table in MVP discussions, which is insane. But he would obviously command a much higher price. His biggest contract in New York was, I think, ballpark $40 million a year, AAV. He would cost more than that if he's playing at this kind of a level. If you were Indianapolis, and like I said, more than half of a season to play, would you be more inclined to keep Daniel Jones at a significantly higher price point, or would you do what Minnesota tried to do and just say, I won 8 games with Gardner Minshew or Anthony Richardson and Joe Flacco? I think Steichen also did it with Gardner Minshew, by the way, a couple of years ago.
But yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, Daniel Jones feels like Indianapolis's
Sam Darnold
in 2025.
Because the Vikings are obviously not in a great spot, but J.J. McCarthy's been hurt.
But here's the thing. There was a game late last season, it might have been week 15 or something, where Sam Darnold had an unbelievable performance. I think it was a win over the Packers. He threw 4 or 5 touchdowns. In the locker room post-game, he is like crowd surfing. And everybody's reaction was like, oh yeah, that dude ain't leaving Minnesota. Look at this. You're telling me they're going to let go of that guy after a year? Then what happened?
They let him go.
Last couple games, it tailed. Threw some bad interceptions.
Cratered.
Yep.
They were one and done in the postseason.
They lose that Detroit game, have to go on the road to the Rams, and the Rams got hot in the postseason, and they lost. And after a 14-win season, one and done in the wild card round. And they let him go to a Seattle situation that on paper looked worse. It looked like a worse offensive line situation, a worse wide receiver situation, and here they are at 5-2, tied for the division lead in the NFC West, which, by the way, quietly, best division in football.
Most competitive.
Yeah. San Francisco, Seattle, L.A., all 5-2.
I don't know. I shouldn't doubt San Francisco because they just keep winning.
They just keep winning.
At some point, though, this has to catch up to them. It's like the meme. It's like they can't keep getting away with this.
But they are.
There's no Fred Warner, no Nick Bosa. How the hell are they doing this? Robert Saleh has some dudes you've never heard of playing at the highest possible level. Future Titans legend Robert Saleh.
If you're the Colts, you finally got one right.
I know, especially if you're Chris Ballard.
Right. Like, Matt Ryan didn't work. Carson Wentz didn't work. Anthony Richardson definitely didn't work. If you're a Colts fan, and we're having this conversation before November, so we'll see what happens. But as of right now, if this continues, especially if it continues into a postseason run, of course you have to keep Daniel Jones. He's the next in this line of reclamation project quarterbacks. It's working for Tampa with Baker. It's working Seattle. Got the benefit of that with Minnesota cutting ties with Sam Darnold. And now here's Seattle in a knockdown, drag-out fight to win the best division in football so far.
Daniel Jones is playing confidently. But the thing about Indianapolis is the idea, it's the same thing as Minnesota. Minnesota had a lot of really good players around Sam Darnold. Indianapolis has a lot of really good players around Daniel Jones. If Daniel Jones becomes more expensive, where are you skimping to make up for the fact that you're paying a quarterback? He's going to get a $50 million a year contract.
Yeah, probably. No, he is. If this continues at the rate that he's playing at, which is the best he's played in his career. Absolutely, yes. But, okay, so the alternative then is to lean towards the unknown. To me, I think you always go with the established player at quarterback.
That's not what this team did.
With who?
In weighing their options this offseason.
I'm sorry, did this team have a Sam Darnold to pay? I'm confused at what you're saying.
No, like they could have paid Sam Darnold, though.
Oh, right. Yeah, for sure.
And
I see what you're saying.
Different circumstance, but
yeah, they were doing a whole franchise reset and still are. But no, I would have been very much in favor of if the Titans had chosen to go that route
and traded the pick
and just gone with Sam Darnold and try to accelerate that rebuild. I would have been on board. I said that. I would have been on board. Then they signed Brandon Allen, and you knew, okay, yeah, this is happening. They're drafting Cam Ward with the number 1 pick. And, yeah, that's one of two paths, right? Total franchise reset with your franchise quarterback that you draft and develop, or do we try to skip that part and go ahead and pay a guy that has shown that he might actually be who we thought he was coming out of college and try to supplement elsewhere and get ahead of this thing? They went with option A, but no, I see what you're saying.
On YouTube, somebody says, don't you dare compare Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison to Michael Pittman Jr. and Alec Pierce. I'm not. I'm comparing Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison to Pittman, Pierce, Tyler Warren, Jonathan Taylor. Are the Colts, again, the best offensive line in football?
Offensive
God knows
line,
they're playing like it.
Offensive line definitely better.
It's got nothing to do with just two players versus two players. It's that the Colts are stacked everywhere on offense, and Daniel Jones is at the highest level of just distributor.
They don't have a superstar like a Justin Jefferson.
But
Not even
got
close.
A top to bottom better roster
it's a very
than Minnesota
balanced,
does.
Well-rounded roster.
How is Mike McCoy coaching some of the things that Cam Ward needs to work on? You'll hear from the Titans interim head coach coming up next.
Selling your home can be stressful, but it doesn't have to be. Get a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. There are no showings, no open houses, no stress. Work with the #1 real estate team in the U.S. and close with confidence. Go to markspain.com today.
12:03, good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Lucas Panzica. Some Titans news on this Thursday as the Titans get ready to head up to Indy to face the Colts. Now official as of seconds ago, the Titans have placed cornerback L'Jarius Sneed on injured reserve with a quad injury that he picked up last Sunday in the loss to the New England Patriots. Another injury report will come out later today. Jeffrey Simmons did not practice yesterday. Interim coach Mike McCoy saying Simmons will be week to week. Calvin Ridley, Bryce Oliver, and Arden Key also among the players that did not practice. In NBA news, Portland Trailblazers coach Chauncey Billups and Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier were arrested this morning as part of an investigation related to illegal gambling, a scandal that is rocking the NBA. Thursday Night Football tonight is at SoFi Stadium. The Chargers host the Vikings. Kickoff at 7:15. You can hear the Westwood One coverage right here on The Zone. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Well, Lucas just told you the rare breaking news update that actually has the breaking news in it. L'Jarius Sneed is heading to injured reserve, so he will miss at least the next 4 games. Remember, not just 4 weeks, because the next 4 weeks would also include the Titans' bye. So L'Jarius Sneed will not be available at minimum for at Indianapolis, home for the Chargers, home Texans, home Seahawks. So the first game that, if he was healthy, he would be eligible to return for would be at the end of November when the Jaguars play at Nissan Stadium. Welcome back to the show. Final hour is upon us. Nate Washington will join us here in just a second. It would be good to get Nate's perspective on the L'Jarius Sneed experiment. An experiment that is a sound failure at this point in time.
Titans also signed Joe Bocci from the practice squad to the active roster, linebacker.
Kaharski was screwing around yesterday in the locker room and asked 3 of us, I think it was me, Tehran, Easton, and Suss. It's like, if I said, who's Joe Bocci, who would you say he is?
The creator of Bocce Ball.
And I looked at him with a blank stare. And I said,
was that what was said?
The creator of Bocce Ball.
I said,
Who did create Bocce Ball?
I have no idea. And he said, it's a Titans linebacker. No, I didn't know that either. Yeah, so that's where we are at this point in the season. L'Jarius Sneed has played.
Oh, Bocce goes all the way back to the Roman Empire.
Well, they pronounce it Bocci.
Excellent contribution by you.
I do my best.
Yeah, that's what I'm concerned about. So, L'Jarius Sneed this year has been slightly more available than he was in 2024, his first year with the Titans, but obviously availability continues to be an issue because he is going back on injured reserve again with a quad injury. So far this season, he has contributed you want to guess what his passer rating allowed is?
Go on.
Just take a guess.
Just tell us.
116.
137.7. That's almost a perfect passer rating allowed.
And I wonder how much of that, can you see how much of that would have been from Sunday?
Oh, because Sunday was bad.
Yeah, it was his worst performance of the season.
I can tell you what his, if you'll give me a second, I can pull up what his specific passer rating allowed on Sunday was.
Bocce.
Sorry. Just wanted to know how to actually say it.
Thank you.
That was like a Google AI pronunciation.
Don't you ever do that and try to figure out how to say something? Don't you roll your eyes at me?
Unknown robot voice.
Sneeds passer rating allowed. Actually, continue to play the Bocce sound while I look for this. You want to guess? You want to guess what his passer rating allowed was for Sunday alone?
What?
Perfect.
149.3.
Yeah, so that definitely, I'm sure, plummeted his overall season number.
His best game, so he played in 7 games so far this season. He played in 5 games last year, obviously. His best game was in week 3 against the Colts. His second best game was at Denver, but he was at least statistically bad against the Rams. I know that there were a couple of moments where he held up well in red zone situations, but did get got a couple of times by Devontae Adams.
But it was just a good, like, it felt like it was a competitive outing, right? Devontae Adams versus L'Jarius Sneed, both won on multiple different occasions, and he got off to a nice start to the season. Like, out of the gates, L'Jarius Sneed was a plus at corner, and then it started to tail, and Sunday was by far his worst performance.
Somebody just tweeted me in response to the news and said, damn, no trade takers. Who the hell would trade for L'Jarius Sneed even if he was healthy?
Yeah, not that contract.
That contract is awful.
And the health stuff on top of it.
I mean, this is why the idea of impatience with the Titans organization is fair, even if it's a rebuild. Because this was supposed to be a part of the rebuild. You were supposed to have a cornerstone piece of your defense in L'Jarius Sneed, a 2-time Super Bowl champion, somebody who Brian Callahan regarded as, at the time, the best corner in football, which is why they pushed so hard to trade for him. And Mike Borgonzi on the side of the Chiefs at the time and Chad Brinker on behalf of the Titans negotiating that deal. This is egg on the face of everybody involved. So, yeah, L'Jarius Sneed obviously would not be a trade asset. He will be on injured reserve as the trade deadline passes. Tough.
So, your 2 starting corners.
Wish I had Jarvis Brownlee
to start the season.
If I was a Titans fan.
Yeah, are either not on the roster or down. And here you are with Roger McCreary, with Darrell Baker, with Marcus Harris. And again, Denard Wilson continues to take hits to his defense.
But Jalen Armour-Davis.
And Jalen Armour-Davis.
Great culture fit. Sam Womack finally going to play. He's been a healthy scratch every game.
Yeah, has not been active yet. I mean, this opens the door, right?
Yeah. Yes, Lucas, it does. It does, in fact, open the door for the guy who hasn't played yet to play because they're just out of corners. They gave away one. They relied upon another that was thoroughly unreliable during his tenure here. And, yeah, that's just tough.
Kenny Gore with the ultimate slam to end our talk. This one got me. Sneed is a shutdown corner. As soon as he got that money, he shut down.
I want to ask Nate how often he thinks that happens as a player. Like where because the way that people typically talk about these things is guys want their ring first and their money second. And L'Jarius Sneed obviously had 2 championship runs. Well, he had multiple championship runs, but 2 rings with the Kansas City Chiefs, got traded here, got paid. The effort thing is really tough for me to be critical of as a media member. I don't want to keep citing the rundown in Arizona. I know he didn't actually force the fumble by Amari DiMercato, but he was at least attempting to make a play on the ball to run that back, 70-something yards, or to run it down 70-something yards. It just didn't work. But that doesn't... It wouldn't be okay in any circumstance, right, where you give up assets, you pay a guy, and it goes as poorly as this did. But it's insult to injury when you just give away Jarvis Brownlee for nothing. I don't want to sit there and hover on that trade, but it gets worse. Like, it ages worse the further removed we get from it. I know he's on the Jets. He's probably miserable.
I mean, it's not a bad defense. To Woody Johnson's point.
If I could just complete a pass. What an insane thing to say about a player on your roster, by the way.
Everybody always wants owners to talk until they do, and then everybody's mad.
I mean, he's not wrong, but it's just an insane thing to say.
All I'm saying. But Jets defense has been solid. Jarvis Brownlee's playing some solid football up there.
No, he's the highest graded player routinely on the Jets roster, according to Pro Football Focus.
Can you look at Jalen Armour Davis's rating? Because he's really eating up those snaps. But it hasn't been Marcus Harris.
Because the front office wanted him to play.
Claimed him off waivers from Baltimore.
Hold, please.
After roster cut day.
Jalen Armour Davis, his best Pro Football Focus outing, just in terms of grade, was last week, actually, against the Patriots.
Okay.
What was the grade?
66 flat.
Which isn't bad. What's the color for that? Yellow?
Like kind of a pukey green. So
okay, that's better than yellow then.
Yellow and green.
About average.
His worst game was against Arizona, where Marvin Harrison Jr. was cooking him, and then they switched Snead over, and that got a little better.
Go look at his game from 2012 or 2022 when he had to cover Jamar Chase.
You cannot do the James Prochet thing to him too, just because he's a former Raven that didn't pan out.
Just because he got toasted by the best receiver in football.
Turn your head around.
One time a couple years ago.
Watch him catch that ball over you.
Oh my goodness.
Watch him run for a touchdown.
Somebody said they had to justify the number one waiver wire pickup. Yeah, get him out there, I guess. Him and Sam Womack, your Titans starting. Well, actually, it'll be Baker Jr. But they said that Baker Jr. fell out of favor with the coaching staff. So, now you're down to a guy who fell out of favor with you, a dude who's, had a disappointing career as a third-round pick because he's been injured so often. He's not injured here, obviously, in Jalen Armour Davis, but he's not great by any stretch of the imagination, because despite having his best overall Pro Football Focus grade this past weekend against the Patriots, he had his worst grade as a his second worst grade as a tackler, 37.9. And for as often as Jonathan Taylor seems to break past the Titans' first line of defense, I don't know that that's the guy that I want squaring up against the Colts stud running back.
I mean, you're an injury away from the 6th-round rookie being a starter at corner.
Oh, I think he's probably going to play. I mean, he's playing on special teams, obviously, but I think they're all going to have to play. It's just a mess on the defensive side of the ball. All right, we'll talk to Nate Washington about this, about Xavier Restrepo, about Cam Ward and potential improvement coming up next. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. Nate Washington is here, soon to be a best-selling author. Nate wrote a book. It's available in the Amazon bookstore right now. Nate, we are very proud of you, first and foremost. That's a hell of a thing. Did you,
Thank you.
Okay, so take me through before we, cry and laugh at the idea that L'Jarius Sneed's going on injured reserve and the Colts are about to whip that ass on Sunday. Take me through the process of how you decided you wanted to be an author and then what the undertaking of writing a book was like.
Man, well, first off, I want to start by saying what's up, guys. As always, it's always good to see you fellas. I really appreciate you acknowledging, my book and those things. For me, just personally, it's been a long journey, a lot of ups, a lot of downs. And it was at a point that I had a discussion with an old spiritual leader of mine, actually there in Nashville, Bishop Walker, and he was just talking to me and putting my life kind of in an analogy of football. And he was like, you do a great job of looking at film after these things happen to you, but you kind of have to do a better job of scouting your opponent, knowing how you're going to be attacked. And it sparked the idea in my mind of how, this compares, football actually compared to real life and how it molded me into being able to persevere through adversity and rough times and also being able to handle the good times and knowing what to do in those situations. So it just inspired me, coming from Toledo, Ohio. We didn't have a ton of athletes come out of there prior to me that had, any huge names outside of Jim Jackson, Jeremy Lincoln, Myron Bell. So it wasn't too many blueprints there for us to follow. So it was important for me. And I'm hoping that if it not be one, just maybe two kids from my city read this book and it'll help them along their journey.
That's awesome. Football Was My Father is the title of the book. Robert is going to drop the link for the Amazon bookstore into the live stream chat. So if the audience is interested in checking out Nate's book, you can do exactly that. Nate Washington here with us on 104.5 The Zone. They just put L'Jarius Sneed on injured reserve about 20 minutes before you hopped on here. What am I to do with that and the trade that has blown up spectacularly in their faces?
At the end of the day, this, in my opinion, and let me first state this. I've never met L'Jarius Sneed. I don't know him personally, but I do see these situations happen, right? You get these high free agent guys that come in from these Super Bowl winning teams and this high caliber organizations. And, with all due respect to the Titans, they come to, a lower tier team of the NFL, and it's just like whatever for them. Their sense of want to has completely left. I don't see him being this way if he was still in Kansas City. I think there would be a lot more sense of urgency of him being a part of that team. But being in the situation you're here now, it makes it easier to just look at the situation and want out, and it's unfortunate that this is the situation that we're faced with. Now, I could be completely wrong. I can be in a situation where I'm speaking on his integrity and he's actually going through real injuries and having real issues with his body as he's getting older. But, just speaking from a personal standpoint, like I said, the only season of my career I went over 1,000. I played 9 games on a high ankle sprain. Never practiced during the week, but I showed up for game days and had some of my best performances. And for me, man, you doggone there have to shoot me to keep me off that field. I've played with pulled hamstrings. I played with oblique strains. I've played with AC joints. I've played with all type of things. And while I know, we're in a different era of everything, and including football, and the understanding of how the effects go on your body, for me, there's just no glory in submission. If I can go, I'm going.
Yeah, it's a couple of different things, Nate, because, when you guys, as professional athletes, regardless of the sport, fight and claw and work your entire lives to get to this particular point, it's hard for somebody like me or a media member to sit there and be like, well, that guy's not working hard enough anymore. But it's a couple of different things here with Sneed. That, one, the confusion just generally around his injury last year that wasn't serious enough to put him on injured reserve initially. They wait a month, then they put him on injured reserve. Then all of a sudden he's missing the entire season. And you come into this year and you say, okay, well, at least it's not, he had a knee scope. It's not a quad injury anymore that he's dealing with. Let's see how he does. And we understand that he has a degenerative knee condition that would limit his practice reps anyway, and it's what he did in Kansas City to get him out on the field on Sundays, and fine if that's what you got to do to get him ready for games here. So be it. It's the fact that you trade draft capital for that guy, that you give him one of these fat contracts on the back end, that the guy who was responsible for orchestrating the trade on behalf of the Chiefs is now the Titans general manager, and the person who was responsible for acquiring L'Jarius Sneed on behalf of the Titans, Chad Brinker, is the person who has final roster say here, combined with the idea that, like, in the offseason, and I'm not so naive or old school or whatever you want to call it, to say that these guys can't post whatever they like on social media. But he's doing things like getting custom Louis Vuitton cleats made and posting them on social media, and all this stuff that he's doing with the money that he's been paid to essentially not play football here at this point in time. It's really hard for me to fight against the optics of that, even as I know that person fought his ass off at some point in his life to become a professional football player. How often does that happen, where you see guys get the rings, which is what you're after as the ultimate competitor, then take the check at whatever team that you're going to, like you mentioned, a lower tier team, and see some of that fight, some of that passion fade?
As I stated, as a person of integrity, there's responsibility in your actions, and you have to understand the optics of, your social media presence, your public presence. I've been in situations where I was in public, and man, I was approached by someone that know who I was and might not have been acting of respect. And as much as I wanted to address it, I'm thinking about ESPN and and I don't want to be on no ESPN. So, I mean, at the end of the day, when you're one of the head guys on your team, your contract is large, those things, optics are important to fans. Being on this side for me as a fan, those things are important. It lets us know where your integrity is about playing the game, not just the benefits that come from the game, right? And here we are, you see these things happening, and it's hard, especially when us as fans can't just sit down and talk to L'Jarius personally and get an understanding of who he really is. It's all about optics. So, when you have a guy that's living a life of lavish off of his earnings, but the work is not there, as a fan that's invested in that team, it's going to disappoint you, man. And I understand the disappointment.
At NWash85 is where you follow him. Football Was My Father published author Nate Washington here with us on 104.5 The Zone, talking Titans.
Tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. on Amazon. You can order Football Was My Father. The cover, Nate, could you give us some quick insight on the cover? I've seen you post this picture of your daughter with the 85 Titans jersey, my daddy on the back, watching the game from a suite at Nissan Stadium. Really cool. And then I think you guys recreated it, right? As she got a little bit older?
Yeah. We did, actually. She didn't want to, but I called her mom on her and made her.
That's awesome. So
just be like, do this one thing for Dad, okay? Just this one thing, you know?
Yeah. They become teenagers, and it's almost hell trying to get them to do anything for you. But, the cover in itself, that picture was actually taken. I had a suite every year when I played for the Titans. And that picture was actually taken, shortly. I think she was like 2 years old, and her mom took that with her leaning on the glass, waiting for me to come out the tunnel. And we've always had that picture, obviously, and it's always been very dear to me. And in this specific moment, I just thought it definitely portrayed the picture that I wanted to show of the words of Football Was My Father. It tells a story of a little girl watching her dad work in a game that actually raised him to be a great man. So it meant a lot to me, and she's ecstatic. A little note for that. I showed her the book for the first time. She looked straight at me and she said, "Oh, that means I'm getting 20%. I said, man, come on.
You know what? At least she's sharp, Nate. Like,
hey, I'm not mad. I actually responded with, I said, baby girl, I'm not mad at your hustle.
She said, let me get a little bit of that name, image, and likeness.
Yes. You're like, I ain't paid it for enough.
What are we doing here, Pops? That's great.
That's awesome. All right, so 1-6 at this point in the season. So how important now are guys like Cody Barton, right? I mean, you start to run out of names, Nate, on veterans that are still out there, that are still fighting, that aren't on injured reserve, that are still healthy. How important are those voices right now to keep things together on what is otherwise a very young football team that's still getting its bearings in the NFL, especially on offense with Cam Ward and all of his rookie pass catchers?
Yeah, it's very important right now. You know, they're going to need the veterans in this locker room to hold things together. And, you know, speaking from experience, a lot of those conversations about holding things together are when you're away from the facilities, you know, text thread conversations or linking with, you know, the teammates and going out to have lunch, food, drinks, whatever you're doing that is linking you guys up away from the facility. You know, those conversations go on. Those questions go on about actions in the front office, about the coaching staff, you know, about game plan. And, you know, I've been in those situations where, you know, being in around those young guys, you have to say, yeah, I hear you, but, you know, we just make sure you understand we still got a job to do and we got to show up and do our job. So it's going to be very important from the veteran leadership in this locker room right now to hold things together and make sure that they're not just going through the motions, but making sure they're getting better every week.
Jeff Simmons, we'll see, but unlikely at this point in time to play against the Colts. He's dealing with a hamstring injury that ruled him out against the Patriots. You know, it feels like we're just kind of just dwelling in all this constant doom and gloom, but the quarterback did play reasonably well for a period of time in this game. I know the bar is low, Nate, but what did you see from Cam Ward in the early onset there, where the Titans offense seems to have at least presented him some more opportunities, or at least some opportunities that made him a bit more comfortable in the way that he was executing? What showed up on tape?
Well, definitely. I know, you know, the Titans fans have kind of still been in an uproar, especially after the fumble and the interception. But, you know, I turned on his game film and I actually seen improvement. You know, I was begging for the weeks prior to this for the number one thing to just be a tempo. And that's just understanding the offense, understanding the play calls, snapping out of the huddle, getting to the line, getting into your operation of your snap count, and understanding the defense in a much quicker operation. And I seen it. You know, I seen a lot of those things. I actually even seen a little bit of the no huddle. You know, it came with a penalty, but the effort was there. The call was there. I was excited about it. And I think it helped. You know, as I stated before, up-tempo offenses put defenses in binds. They cannot go out and disguise coverages, disguise blitzes, and those type of things when you have a team that's decisive and snapping out of the huddle and going and running their play. And that's what I've seen. You know, it vanilla's the coverage for him. It gives him ability to see the coverage before the ball is snapped a lot more, and it helped him out. He got the ball out of his hands a lot quicker in some instances. Obviously, there was still some things that he needs to build on, but, you know, I kind of tweeted as well. You know, we haven't even made it halfway through this guy's rookie season. And as you get guys, you know, in this league, you know, that come in and are expected to play as first rounders, you know, playing quarterback is the most difficult position that you can play. He touches the ball every snap. And as we've seen with guys that's able to come in with C.J. Stroud and Jaden Daniels that have played well in their first seasons, you have to look at a sophomore slump. So at some point, these young guys are going to go through growing pains. And that's what's been going on. But I've definitely seen improvement from Cam. I've seen some issues with his feet. His body posture leaning sometimes, but overall, I think things went well for him. And staying in this offense, I think I've seen some good things as well in that regard too. A lot of flow, a lot of quick game, some dumps over the middle that allowed him to get the ball out of his hand, allow the pass catcher to do their thing, taking 6 to 8 yard pass plays, taking what the defense gives him, and I think there's some room for improvement there. But overall, I think, you know, as a fan and as a guy that actually played the game, you just have to understand that this week was about improvement, and I've definitely seen it.
Nate Washington with us. We have talked with you a lot about Alec Iomanor, what you like about him as a player. How about Chimere Dike last Sunday? Nate, with that game, he had 169 all-purpose yards, 70 receiving, 99 yards in the return game. He now has over 1,000 total all-purpose yards through 7 games. It leads the league, number one, and he joins Derek Mason and Derrick Henry as the only players in the Titans era to reach 1,000 combined yards in the first 7 games of a season. What do you like about the way Chimere Dike is coming on as a receiver? Because we already knew the weapon that he can be as a return man.
First and foremost, you know, when you see this kid on the field, you know you get effort. that is the first and foremost thing. I don't care what else going on. That is the first thing I look for. I see a will to want to be great. And that's definitely what I see with this kid. And he's doing an amazing job of giving energy to this offense. Speed, agility, unique tool type plays with reverses and those type of screens that he's been running. And it's given a different look. You know, as much as I've loved Alec, I don't think Alec is really his physical ability doesn't give him the ability that Shamir with the screen and utility game. And I think that's really been panning out well for them. You know, I haven't said this prior to this moment, but, you know, even prior to you mentioning it, I felt like the special teams, while they've had their blunders in the kicking game, field goal game, I felt like the special teams was actually the only phase of a unit on this team that was actually producing and giving some energy to this team. And a lot of that is the reason of his return game. So I'm looking forward to how they continue to involve him in this offense and continue to allow him to grow. I think he has a lot to bring to the table, especially when you're talking about the opposite side of what Alec brings. And I think they'll find a way to, you know, continue to grow with Cam and do some good things, man.
Football Was My Father is the name of the book. It goes live tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. So right when the radio show starts, we will put the link to Football Was My Father in the live stream chat for people to do. It is also pinned in the YouTube chat if you want to make sure that you know where to find it tomorrow. Nate Washington, always good to see you, buddy.
Thank you, guys, man. I appreciate it. Everything you guys have done for me thus far, man. It's really been enjoyable. Thank you.
We haven't done anything. We're grifting off of your good name. That's what we've done. That's what, which is it's par for the course. It means you're one of us. That's Nate Washington.
Thanks, Nate.
With us on 104.5 The Zone. Last call for phone calls if you got them. 615-737-1045. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. All your favorite NBA players are back, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is the place to bet on NBA stars this season. With more markets open for more of the game, DraftKings, the #1 sportsbook for live betting, is live when others aren't. New customers bet just $5 and get 3 months of NBA League Pass, plus score $300 if your bet wins paid in bonus bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THEZONE. That's code THEZONE, one word. Bet $5 and get 3 months of NBA League Pass plus $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text the Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789. 21 plus. Tennessee only. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. NBA League Pass auto renews until canceled. Additional terms at dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. We have Thursday night football. We have the Vikings. Who are the Vikings playing? The Vikings are playing the Chargers.
SoFi Stadium.
I had to find it, sorry. Vikings at the Chargers.
Chargers 3.5-point favorites.
So it will be Carson Wentz again at quarterback. Who the hell is playing tackle for Justin Herbert at this point?
Oh, why can I not remember that their right tackle is terrible? Oh, don't say it.
I mean, they're all terrible.
This kills me. If you would have asked me, I could have told you.
I will. If you didn't ask me, I would have told you. What does that even mean? Don't look it up.
I'm not looking that up.
Yes, you are.
I'm not. I'm looking at
literally
clips.
watching you Google.
Oh, from the show? What are you talking about? Looking at clips. I'm trying to get your podcast up.
Can I interest you in a Trey Pipkins III?
Who's the left tackle? It's like Austin Compass or something.
Austin
Deculus.
Deculus.
Bert knows ball, man. To even get remotely close. 99.9% of our audience has never heard the name Austin Deculus in their lifetime.
I'm still not sure it's a real player.
Unless you're an LSU fan, because he played for LSU.
That Trey Pipkins, hot dookie, man.
He's
Bad.
I feel bad for Justin Herbert. Like, I was just starting to buy in, and then the Chargers do what happens every year, and like half their roster's hurt.
Exactly. And this is why people continue to buy into him. Rather than dog him for not being able to elevate a team,
I call him a choking dog in the playoffs.
His whole team's hurt. Oh, I feel so bad for him. He's dating Madison Beers. He'll be okay.
Who?
If you looked her up,
she's a not famous person.
Yes, very attractive influencer.
Of which there are so many these days.
It was so funny when it came out. It was like, I can't believe Justin Herbert bagged Madison Beer. It's like, dude, that is the guy who is supposed to be bagging women like that.
Starting NFL quarterback making $55 million a year.
Very handsome with short hair or long hair. It doesn't matter.
He kind of looks like a baby giraffe.
That's Trevor Lawrence. I feel like Justin Herbert
looks. I don't even know what Trevor Lawrence looks like.
He looks like. Is it Ray Romano?
Can I Google Madison Beer? Is it Madison Beer?
Beers.
Did you just say Ray Romano from Madagascar?
Yeah, well, isn't he the
Melvin?
Isn't he the giraffe?
Okay,
that's Ross.
That's
from
David Schwimmer.
Oh, that's who I meant. Yeah, Trevor Lawrence kind of looks like an attractive David Schwimmer.
This woman is very attractive.
Yes, very, very. I cannot believe that Justin Herbert's dating someone attractive.
She's famous, but nobody knows who she is or what she does.
American singer, songwriter, model, actor, and show judge.
She's a triple threat.
What?
Yeah, she sings.
She's a quintuple threat.
I mean, just like the way that what are these other famous?
Am I just old now?
Yes.
Like, I don't know who these people are anymore.
Yes.
I don't know who any of these people are.
It's like the Family Guy skit. Like, tune in to what was the Nickelodeon award show?
The Kids' Choice Award.
Tune in the Kids' Choice Award where it's Shirt McPantsy. It's like, I don't know who any of these people are.
I used to watch it as a child. I definitely watched the Kids' Choice Award.
You always watch to see who gets slimed.
But that is when you start to notice, like, I'm not as aware of who these people are.
Yes, and now, like, Aiden Ross apparently is someone I'm supposed to know.
Cannonball Charlie.
Somebody asked us when we were shooting that zoo nonsense with Robert.
And I told him we were.
Well, Robert knows who Aiden Ross is. Some teenager working a concession stand or something like that. It's like, who are you guys here with?
It's like don't tell anybody.
People of some even remote importance just wandering around the zoo instead of a shoeless hillbilly riding the zip line.
The Nashville Zoo.
Don't tell
where
anybody.
We are now banned.
Yeah, no, dude, you're not supposed to say that out loud. I keep sneaking in with a mustache.
Well, it's because you tried to leave with a meerkat. That's why we can't go back.
I didn't try. I was successful.
Joke's on you. I hate the idea that but I feel like it's happening at a faster rate than ever before because of social media, where I'm 32 and I've aged out of pop culture because we're just creating so many, as Lucas calls them, famous, not famous people.
Yeah.
Famous people that you don't actually know. I just can't keep up with the sheer volume of crappy influencers that are everywhere. Anyway, do you want me to take this phone call or no?
Only if you want to mystery vortex it, because I'm not going to screen it.
Let's mystery vortex.
Line 1, do your worst.
No way. How does this keep happening?
Well, I've been looking for a girl like you. Knew it couldn't be true.
This is crazy.
Your call is very important to us.
That is not the first time that has happened. I can't even. How does that happen? How does somebody call us to put us on hold to elevator music?
Somebody said Trevor Lawrence looks like Sarah Jessica Parker, and I can't unsee it.
Ooh.
Oh, by the way,
that is his aunt.
I recently started watching Sex and the City.
I hear it's a great show.
It's a really entertaining show.
Would you agree that if Buck was one of the Sex and the City girls, he would be Samantha?
Samantha's who he would want to be.
That's such a Samantha thing to say.
She's just the promiscuous one, right?
Yeah, but
she's also very rude.
He's really a Miranda. He's the one no one likes.
Which one's Miranda?
Miranda's the one that
the redhead.
The redhead.
Yes. Yeah. Oh God. Yes, because she's a lawyer. She's very hoity-toity.
Yeah.
She doesn't know what she wants. She's whiny.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, spot on.
Yeah, Buck's Miranda. He thinks he's Samantha, but he's
I would
Miranda.
probably be Samantha.
I feel like you've just described me to me. So, yeah, I'll go with Miranda.
So who would you be? You think you would be Carrie?
This is what we need to do for Halloween.
Isn't that what her name? All of us be Sex and the City girls?
No, then they'll boycott us like they want to boycott Bad Bunny because God forbid a man wear a dress.
I didn't even know Bad Bunny. That was a thing.
I don't think it is. I think people are just confused by the fashion and think that he's wearing female clothing.
Oh, did you guys see this? The Titans signed this a guy named Bocce? Is that why you guys were talking about Bocce balls earlier?
Thank you for listening.
Bocce.
The Titans elevated a linebacker to the active roster.
His name is Joe
Bocce.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Played at Michigan State.
We're playing bocce ball, baby. Put Bocce in. Is he on the practice squad? Regular squad?
I don't know.
Does
it even matter?
They promoted him from the practice squad.
They signed a practice squad receiver, which makes people think that Restrepo is going to be up.
Hey, I used to think Lance McCutcheon was going to be a dude when he was on the Chargers.
From Montana State?
Dude,
stop.
I'm serious. Go look at his rookie year. He wasn't like an end-all, be-all. But
Are you talking about Ladd McConkey?
No, Lance McCutcheon is the wide receiver they added to the practice squad.
Yes.
That is who I'm talking about. I used to think that he was going to be a dude because when he came in, Keenan Allen was hurt. A bunch of dudes were hurt. He was playing a lot.
He's not played for the Chargers. Are you doing a bit or are you confusing him with former Georgia receiver Ladd McConkey?
No.
Who's a very promising rising star. He played at the Rams his rookie year.
Okay,
the Rams. White guy?
Yeah, the Rams. The colors got me. That's my fault. That's my fault. But he was going to be good, dude. He was going to be good.
No, I'm not. You're doing a bit.
I'm not.
You confused him with Ladd McConkey.
No,
there's no way you knew who Lance McCutcheon was.
We just talked about Austin Deculus.
That's true. That's a good point.
What are you? Oh, you're lying.
That's a good point.
Play the pulse so I can go home.
Presented by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. Do you want to see Xavier Restrepo called up for the Titans this weekend? An overwhelming majority says yes, 77.5%.
I don't care. Do it or don't. Just let's get on with it.
Why not?
Why?
Give him a shot.
At this point, it doesn't even matter. Just try.
Matters to Xavier Restrepo.
Okay.
Whose success at Vanderbilt is more impressive, Clark Lee or James Franklin? 84.5% say Clark Lee's.
No. James Franklin had a harder road in 3 seasons, and he was bowl eligible and won 2 bowl games in 3 of his seasons there. It was a mess when he arrived here. It was lacking glaringly in resources. He was going basically door to door, Coach Mack, Arizona style, calling into the zone. I remember he used to call Midday 180 all the time to try and get people to show up to Vanderbilt games. Like, James Franklin did a lot of dirty work. I know people didn't like the way that he left, whatever. He did a good job at Vandy.
Oh, he did a phenomenal job. Clark Lee has done a better job by definition. They are in the top 10 right now. They're being talked. They could go to Atlanta. Like, we're saying that and it's almost November, and it's not a crazy thing to say. So he has done more than Franklin ever did, and it feels sustainable. It feels like something that could go on for years, but James Franklin had more hurdles, no doubt, and Clark Lee had some hurdles.
You know what makes me laugh?
What?
When people get in the YouTube chat with news that's an hour old and tell us that Snead's on IR.
Thank you, Harold.
Thank you, Harold.
Should the Vikings regret not keeping Sam Darnold? 81.3% said yes.
Yeah, revisionist history. We'll see what happens when J.J. McCarthy comes back. But the problem is he has been unavailable, which means that he has not had time to grow and develop. They're 3-3, and they're in a tough division.
He's also not been good other than one quarter of football.
Playing us out?
Those are the polls.
Prime time tonight, 6 o'clock before Thursday night football. Let's face it, buying a vehicle should be straightforward and stress-free, and that's exactly how Two Rivers Ford has been doing business for decades. This locally owned dealership has a non-commissioned sales team whose only focus is to find you the right vehicle at the right price without the pressure. So you'll actually have a fun car buying experience. Great prices, easy financing, and a non-commissioned sales team. Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
Show's over. That means lunchtime. It means Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best in the world. Hot or not, everything in between, whatever works for you, Hattie B's has you covered. You can order for pickup or delivery today if you download the Hattie B's app. Just by downloading the app, you get a free dessert. Start to build up those rewards. Let it fuel your tailgate or watch party this football weekend. Or next time you're at Nissan Stadium, enjoy some Hattie B's Hot Chicken while you're watching the Titans. That's right. You can get Hattie B's Hot Chicken at Nissan Stadium concessions now. HattieB.com is where you go. Or again, like I said, download the Hattie B's app. Visit any one of their 7 Middle Tennessee locations. Hattie B's now doing salads. I have 2 words for you. Cornbread croutons. There's something for everyone. It's the best there is. The sides, the chicken, the salads, the convenience, the people. Go to Hattie B's today.